Not yet.
Hey,
Cool,
look
we're
at there,
on.
look at there. Hello, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Travis. Good
In
morning,
honor
Tim,
of the
Jacob,
hottest team in baseball, I'm wearing an Astro shirt. Thank you very much.
Sam, RK, Ray,
RK,
Trevin.
everybody. Good morning.
But I thought that was kind of cool that they put, I saw that Jeff Traylor posted Jonathan Cain wearing the UTSA jersey. Bass player Jonathan Cain. I'm not going to give him crap for that because he doesn't play bass, but okay.
Yeah.
Woo. Okay, I don't know where she gets her check.
Northside.
Northside. Oh, that's right. School today. Northside, Poteet, Somerset, and Southwest. Look at that. Flash floods in Connecticut, man. Wow.
Wow. Thanks for nothing, Ainsley.
Yeah, what's up with that, man? I haven't seen over here. Who's it? Oh, he's there. Never mind.
Yeah, Neanderthal.
Never
But we don't know if
mind.
Jessica's there.
No. If we don't, we'll be checking out. If she's not, we're out. Oh.
Tags just arrived right now.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I will forward it.
If you forward it to me, I will have it.
Very nice.
Yep. See, 103. Okay. Tell me about the others. Come on. Oh, he's doing traffic too. This is not a good sign.
Not good at all.
No, that means she's not there. Unless she's the anchor. Let's wait. Hey, I just got this from Chris Duell.
I just got that from Joe Bag.
Guess who's back?
Thank you, Sam Tobias. I hope Kyle, Texas, is treating you well this morning.
Oh.
Sarah Duran moves up 2 spots. Jacob, Tim, Sam, RK, Travis, Tim. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
Thank you, Sam. It is the wonder drug that works wonders.
It is. We love it way too much.
Melissa Chumbly Elementary School in the Northside Independent School District. I have no idea where that is.
And it's not. It's Melissa. Melissa.
Yeah, Melissa.
Melissa.
Chumbly. Melissa M. Chumbly.
Blanco River Run. Wow. Who's Melissa? I got to find out who that is.
Sam is between Kyle and Buda.
Buda.
If I were the mayor of Buda, I'd embrace the Buddha thing. I'd get a statue of a Buddha with a cowboy hat and cowboy boots waving as you drive into Buda.
Okay, Melissa Chumbly was a former and longtime NISD trustee.
They give anybody a school.
You ain't kidding, man.
You're a trustee.
Well, you know what? She graduated from Marshall High School.
Look, there she is.
Oh, yeah, I'm reading the same exact thing. They're listening to us. I'm telling you, man. They're on the live stream going, okay, what are they talking about now?
It's the newest elementary school in the. So I guess this is the first day of school ever at Melissa Chumbley Elementary School.
Something to celebrate there.
But come on, you were a trustee.
Yeah.
There's lots of trustees.
I know.
mean, God bless her.
What separated her from all the other trustees? That's what I want to know.
We're name it after Gervin, David Robinson.
Thank you.
Somebody who's done something in this town. Trish DeBerry. Come on.
She was at the show, I believe.
Get out.
I think I saw her on Instagram.
You should have.
I didn't see it till Sunday.
You should have gone on a trek for the good of the radio show. You should have said, you need to come on the show.
Yeah. And I guess our good friend Tracy Bogert was there as well.
Tracy Bogert wanted to debate Arnel Pineda on politics during the.
They actually did a new song.
They did a new song?
Yeah.
We don't need no new.
It was not.
Yeah, we don't need no new songs by Arnel Pineda.
Good. It was not good.
If Steve Perry didn't sing it originally, I am 5 days away from Chicago and Earth, Wind, and Fire.
That's right.
Woo!
So you're out when? Monday?
I'm not out.
Oh, you're not?
I'm going to do
suck
it all in a
and
weekend.
You're going to fly up and get up there, get back.
We're going to drive there on Friday.
Spend the night.
And then walk on the Sky Bridge. It's such a cool.
So cool.
You got to do this sometime.
That's so cool.
You walk on the Sky Bridge and you're there. The Sky Bridge is air conditioned. You get a seat underneath the thing with the fans. And
that's great. That's great, man.
And they got a good lineup.
Yeah.
Unlike San Antonio.
Yeah.
What would be the Biden drinking game tonight when he speaks at the Democratic National Convention? When he says, folks, you got to pound your beer.
Pound your beer. Or if he gets like
or if he says malarkey.
If malarkey, it's a shot.
Yeah.
And if he actually has a point where he just stares off into space, you have to take 3 drinks.
And at the end, if Jill helps him off the stage,
oh God,
you have to drink everything in the house.
Yeah. You have to clear out the liquor cabinet.
Amen, Sam Tobias. Praise Jeff Traylor. When's he going to start joining us on
26th.
Monday? The 26th. This is a week from today.
Yeah.
Starting next Monday, Jeff Traylor will join us every Monday.
And we did decide we played Pags at the end of that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that's a good one, Trevin. Here's the deal. You got to slam one, too.
Yes, you got to drink when he says, here's the deal. And if he says, here's the deal, folks.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Biden's, Clinton's, and Obama's. Is that all tonight?
No.
Okay.
I have the rundown.
Okay.
Tonight is President Biden, Jill Biden, Hillary Clinton, and Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson.
Those are your headliners.
Yes.
Kemper in the house.
Hello, Kemper.
Kemper, I saw a cool Instagram video you did this morning. I think for popcorn on her Instagram. It's you should be a pitch person. You could do commercials. Here we go. Welcome into this beautiful day under a full moon that will reach maximum illumination at 1:26 p.m. Of course, it'll be on the other side of the planet. It is Monday, August 19th, 2024, night number one of the Democratic National Convention. 17 days until Taylor Swift's boyfriend opens up the NFL season against the Baltimore Ravens. 22 days until the first debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. 43 days until the vice presidential debate, 73 days until Halloween, and we're under 80 now. 78 days until the 2024 election. What could possibly go wrong? Charity McCurdy, how are you this morning?
Fabulous. I'm gearing up for the rare super blue moon.
Yes.
That will be visible starting tonight. I can't wait.
Blue moon.
And I keep looking to me. Everybody's it is a super moon,
Correct.
And everybody's calling it a super blue moon. I thought a blue moon was the second full moon in a month, and you can't have two full moons on the 19th. I don't get it. I'll have to. You're right, though. That's what it's being
That's what
referred
it's being
to
called,
as. You
yeah.
are
Okay.
accurate.
All
I just have to. I have to check my astronomical knowledge
Well,
on
you
that.
would know.
Yeah,
Well,
if
I-
anybody would know, it
Apparently
would
I
be Chris
don't.
Duell.
Apparently, I don't. I always thought a blue moon was the second full moon,
That's the way I understood
month.
it. That's the way I understood
and
it.
everybody is calling this the super blue moon.
We'll get our crack research
We'll get somebody on that.
staff on that.
Anyway,
yes.
did you see it driving in, Charity?
I did not. I did not. I missed it somehow. My eyes were on the road. I think that's what it
Yeah.
was.
That's probably a good thing.
I should keep my eyes on the road.
And your hands upon the wheel.
Thank you, Mr. Mojo Rising. Yeah, I saw it. Mr. T, you saw it. I'm
Yeah, I
assuming.
saw it when I walked out of my back porch this morning. I could see it was lighting up my yard.
It's still out there. If you're outside, it's above the western horizon. It has not set yet. And again, maximum illumination of that full moon will be at 1:26 p.m. on the other side of the planet, but 1:26 our time. Let's get this party started on a Monday. How about a little traffic and weather together?
Get ready because it's going to get hot. Well, it's already hot, isn't it?
Whoa, it's going to get hotter.
Yeah. Well, sunshine today and hot highs. Forecast around 103. There's a heat advisory until 8 o'clock this evening. Tomorrow, sunny skies near record high temperatures. Right now, forecast highs 104, 105, maybe 106. Same thing for Wednesday. It is 79 degrees in Alamo Heights, 79 in Leon Valley, and guess what? 79 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 5:13.
San Antonio's first news, EJ Pacheco and Andrew Zimmel manning the Millennium Falcon. Andrew running the YouTube stream. Go to YouTube, look for 1200 WOAI. There's a cool live chat in there as well. And Charity McCurdy, I'm Chris Duell. He is Mr. T, Tim Merriman. Any truth that Journey's Arnel Pineda called you on stage to sing Don't Stop Believin'
He
on
did not.
Friday night?
He did not.
Okay.
He did not.
I was kind of hoping.
I was hoping he wouldn't, and he didn't.
Okay.
So that did not happen. It was a great show, though. Steve
yeah.
Miller Band was the highlight for me.
So Steve Miller was the opener.
Yes, 6 o'clock, by the way.
So, okay, you said he wouldn't come out till 6:30. When did
Yeah.
Steve Miller begin?
About 6:10. He was on.
Nice.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, I love that, man.
Yeah.
Well, they had to get to it because Journey and Def Leppard both played the same set, the same length of time.
Okay.
So they had to get him in and out so they could get those guys on.
How long in between each act?
Not long.
That's
It was
good.
probably about 30 minutes tops.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mm.
and it was good.
How sweet life at the Dome.
It was nice. It was very nice.
Mm, in the
Straight back from the stage. And there was only 16 people in that suite. There were 16 seats and 16 people, and they fed us
Caviar, creme brulee.
almost short ribs and chicken breast and popcorn and cookies and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Mm.
Guess what, though? There was a vegetable tray there that nobody touched. I swear
That's
to
just
God.
wrong.
Swear to God.
It's South Texas. We ain't eating no vegetables.
But it was fun. It was a good time. It was a good time.
Cool.
Very, very cool. So, okay, Steve Miller was the best.
Steve Miller to me was a highlight.
Who
Yes.
was second best, Def Leppard or Journey?
Def Leppard. Journey's
Journey
sound was
comes
a
in
little.
third out of three.
They were a little distorted. And so much so, there was an older gentleman that was a very nice guy. I forget his name. I met so many people that night. He was there, and when Journey came on, I trucked to get us a beer real quick, and he was standing out in the hallway with his hands on his ears going, man, it was too loud.
Mhm.
It was loud.
Well, that's why I bring like earplugs anytime I
What's
go.
that? I'm just
Exactly.
kidding.
Yeah. I mean, because as you get older, just being in radio wearing headphones 8 hours a day will do it. But you got to protect your hearing, what's left of it in your older age. So,
Yeah, that's what my wife said, too.
Yeah.
And
I think that's what she said.
I'm at that age when if music's too loud, either in a club or at a concert, it's not enjoyable. You know, when you're a kid, when you're much younger, it's like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, I wanted
Give
to
me
get as
the
close to the
chaos, but-
speaker as I
yeah.
could get with my ear right
Yeah.
next to it. Yeah. It didn't seem to damage me that much.
We will see as the day rolls on.
Yeah.
Lots to talk about. This is day/night number 1 of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. We'll bring you the lineup and what to expect and things that happen when you're behind the wheel of a car. We've got a story about it, and we've got some questions for you on our Talkback feature as well. WOAI News Time, 5:16.
And we're back. Oh, you did? Okay, because I just put it in today's. Those were. You got it though, right? Okay, good.
Okay, so Travis, what is just a regular blue moon? Why is this a blue moon? I understand supermoon, closer to the Earth in the orbit of the moon, but I don't understand why this is a super blue moon. Help me out on that.
Things not to do in the car. Very good, Sam.
Wasn't there going back to the world according to Garp? Was there an incident in the car where
Yes.
a gentleman
Yes. Got his.
suffered
Bit off.
suffered an injury?
Yeah. He got. Oh God, what's a good way to put it? He got Lorraine bobbited,
Yeah.
but
Involuntarily.
yes.
Yeah.
But not with a knife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't know why it's the wrong date, but we apologize.
Yeah, I think that's Andrew's way of just trying to keep this on the down low. Only the cool kids know to come in.
Only the ones on
The
the,
clubhouse.
inside. Yeah.
Rooster, what is up?
Guess who's back?
Yeah, I wonder how many people are not clicking on this because they see
Yeah.
816.
Andrew. I'll text him. Hey man, can you change the date?
I don't know that he can. I think once you set it up that way, unless he started a whole new video, which I don't think he's going to do. Super blue moon is simultaneous full moon, blue moon, and super moon. I get that. That's why I always thought a blue moon was the second full moon of the month. I was wrong, apparently. What do I know?
See, but I always thought once in a blue moon meant it's rare because you have to have two blue
with
moons. Yeah.
28-day cycle, it's hard to get two. Yeah.
Good morning, Rooster.
Take a look here. What is a blue moon?
Well, it's a moon that's blue, Chris. Hello. Yeah, she's not there today.
The third full moon in a season that has 4 full moon. Okay.
Okay.
That means it's not that rare then. So it's the third full moon.
So
in
what
a
the hell?
season.
It's a time warp. We're going to celebrate your birthday again.
It's over.
Not according to this. It's tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
We're in that time warp. Thank you, Kemper, for that. Says it's fixed now. Let's refresh and see if it's fixed. Look at there, it's fixed.
He fixed it? I didn't know that was possible.
He fixed it.
Good for you, Andrew Zimmel.
Well, we fixed it now. If you refresh your screens, the date has changed.
Siobhan Anders, everybody.
Hey!
So yeah, so you just gave up on Ken Spot.
Yeah.
Good man.
Because she
Yeah.
wasn't there.
There's
Yeah.
no reason.
No.
Although
Sorry.
supporting my people.
I know, but, you'll send him a card or something, Chris.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Just ahead of headlines, traffic, and weather together. And Charity, you were, as usual, accurate and correct. A seasonal blue moon is the traditional definition of a blue moon that is the third full moon in a season that has 4 full moons, according to NASA. I always thought a blue moon was the second full moon of the month. And that is the other definition of it, but this is a seasonal blue moon.
Okay, I'm confused.
Above us now.
So
I know.
is it a blue moon or not?
It is a blue
Okay.
moon. It is a blue moon. It's a super blue moon.
Oh, okay.
And
Super blue.
It's a super full blue moon. And
Okay.
it looks very, very cool.
And the next blue moon is supposed to happen, I think, May 31st of 2026.
Wow.
So take it in.
So once in a blue moon.
Once in a blue moon. Enjoy it. Charity, what else is happening?
Well, the curtain rises on the Democratic National Convention in Chicago today. GOP VP candidate J.D. Vance is pushing back against recent polling showing a surge in support for Kamala Harris. And Air Force security officers came under fire twice over the weekend. We'll have details coming up right now, traffic and weather.
Near record high temperatures in store later on this week. Just how hot is it going to be? We welcome in News 4 San Antonio meteorologist Jeanette Kaye. Good morning, Jeanette. Thanks, Jeanette. 79 degrees here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 523.
San Antonio's first news. Driving. You see the strangest stuff while driving. And Mr. T, you've got a story about some freakiness that happens behind the wheel.
Yeah, a guy in Detroit crashed his car into another car at a stoplight because he was focused on eating his chicken wings. And worst part is, he ran into a state trooper.
Oh!
So he got a ticket for distracted driving.
See it all the time. And I'm not on the road much. It's like a 10-minute drive to and from work. And it's amazing, all the dysfunctional driving you see.
Oh, my gosh. I have told the story before. I saw a guy on a motorcycle on 181 texting while he was riding his motorcycle without a helmet.
Oh, God.
Guy had a death wish.
Well, and I told you guys a little over a year ago, I was driving home from this job down 281, going about 70 in a 60. Sorry, Officer Flathers.
Yes.
But there's this truck weaving, and I'm trying to get around this truck, and he's weaving, and I pull past the truck driver, and I look at him. He is looking at his phone. He is going 70 miles an hour, 281 south, and weaving, and because he's looking at his phone.
Yeah. If it's not the phone, and 90% of the time it's people eating. And it's like something like a massive burrito.
Yeah.
Something that they can't even fit in one hand.
Yeah, how about just some popcorn or nothing?
Yeah. How about nothing?
Yeah.
How about nothing?
Eat when you get there.
So I'm thinking on today's talkback, a little double-edged sword. What's the worst and most distracting thing you can do behind the wheel? And if you decide to eat behind the wheel, what are some of the worst things you can eat behind the wheel? See, I'm thinking ice cream cones are bad.
Yes.
Because you'll spill them all over you, and that just, makes you not drive well. Fajitas.
Yeah, because it's going to drip.
Just the steam alone.
Yeah,
from that
yeah.
skillet,
You
yeah.
get that sizzling skillet there, and you're trying
But
to
I'll
pull them
bet you
off and
this
make your
is-
taco while you're driving.
I'll bet you there's a lot of that though in San Antonio.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
hard.
mean, look, I am a guy that I will pull over on into
Yeah.
a parking lot someplace and eat if I'm on the road and I really have to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hungry. That's what I'll do.
I will admit though, I've been to In-N-Out Burger, and they give you it's like an open box. The burgers in it and the fries are
You'll
right
eat the
there.
fries.
I will eat the fries just nonstop, and you have to eat In-N-Out fries quickly because they go bad really quickly.
That's what I
They
hear.
turn to cardboard.
Yeah, they
if you
don't.
don't
They
eat
don't
them
travel
immediately.
well, is what they're saying.
Right. So, Charity, how should people get us this information on the worst things they've seen behind the wheel?
On the free iHeartRadio app, you search 1200 WOAI. Look for that red circle. That's the talkback button. Hit it. 30 seconds to sound off.
And I'm thinking corn on the cob would be bad too.
Mm.
It takes 2 hands.
Yeah.
Corn on the cob would not be easy. Your reaction coming up, and also coming up at 5:40. What we know, what we expect tonight at the opening night of the Democratic National Convention. WOAI News Time 5:26.
And we're back.
Hey, everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. I'm going to stretch a little bit. Blinken meets with Netanyahu. Is he Blinken? Yes, he is.
Yes, I saw him. I
He's
saw
Blinken.
him.
It's like whenever Janet Yellen shows up to a meeting,
She's yelling.
and Blinken is blinking.
She's blinking
Oh,
and
thanks for
yelling.
dressing up.
Yeah. Well, he's in Israel. Come on. That is dressing up.
Great games. So they play tonight, Bernie, correct? I think I read
Yes.
that over the weekend.
Yes. Although there were 2 games that were rained out yesterday. Was
So
it
that might
2?
back everything up.
It might back everything up. I'm not sure. I'll check. But I love Sunday, the first Sunday of the Little League World Series, because that's when the major leaguers show up to play their game. And they just go out of their way, and all they do is hang out with the kids, which I think is the coolest thing in the world, man. They're sitting in the stands with them, watching the games. They get off the bus. They ride from the airport to the field. They ride on the bus with Little Leaguers,
So cool.
and they're all talking. And I mean, these guys were signing autographs nonstop yesterday. It was fantastic.
So are they current big leaguers?
Yes,
or
they're playing a
veterans?
game. They play a game there on the Sunday of the first Sunday of the Little League World Series. Last night was Detroit and New York
So it
Yankees.
was a regulation game.
Yeah. Of course, the stadium they use is 6 miles away from the Little League park.
Wow.
But yeah, and all the kids have all the seats right behind the home plate, and you only get in if you're a family member or a Little Leaguer, because it's not a very big place. And it's cool, man. I mean, they go all out. It's cool to watch, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bob, welcome in.
Good morning, Bob.
Don't get you started on In-N-Out. Bob, do you not like In-N-Out?
Uh-oh.
All right, Bob, I am a big fan of In-N-Out, not of their fries. Whataburger has better fries, but this will not be popular, and I don't say things to be popular. If you did a blind taste test, just took a bite of an In-N-Out burger and a modern-day Whataburger, because when I was growing up, a Whataburger
Thank
was
you, Travis.
more flavorful than it is today. It's a 1973 Whataburger.
Well, when there was there was
Yeah.
no Whataburgers
they
everywhere.
were bigger and better and more.
Whataburgers, I'm
To
sorry.
me,
Whataburgers.
an In-N-Out burger is more flavorful than a
See, for the
Whataburger.
longest time, Chris, I had to put a little sand on my Whataburger. It just didn't taste right, because that's the first place I ever had them was at the
Yes.
coast. And when you eat anything at the coast, it's got sand on it if you're eating it on the beach anyway. So yeah.
Travis is in the What a Cult, apparently. Chester's is very, very good.
Oh, Chester's. I like Chester's. Best burgers, both sides of the Pecos.
Yeah, In-N-Out is not my favorite burger. My favorite burger is the original Tommy's hamburger, Rampart and Beverly in Los Angeles, in a very bad neighborhood. If you go, it's like not far from USC. I used to eat there all the time when I was in college. You go there now, you need a flak jacket. You may get shot, but it'd be worth it. 'Cause it's such a good burger. It's worth risking death.
See, we
For a
should do
Tommy
that. We
burger.
should do this maybe Friday if
It's a
we get a
chili
chance,
cheeseburger.
because Chris Madrid's has a great burger. Longhorn Cafe has a great burger.
Where's the best burger you've ever had?
Man,
The best burger you've ever. Chris Madrid's is up there.
Chris
A lot of people will say Little Hips.
Little Hips was fantastic, and their place out by me, Armadillos, is the people that worked at Little Hips. They run that place, and the burgers are just like they were.
Longhorn Cafe ain't bad.
You like them.
RK, they used real cows back then. Very funny. I remember, man, when I first went to Whataburger, it was on Callahan Road near
I remember that
Babcock,
one.
in between Babcock and 410. And the patty was thick and gigantic and flavorful. The Whataburger itself was bigger than these modern
So
day.
Bob says he's eaten at him 3 times, and he's never had a good burger.
Bob, I don't know what kind of karma you had to have such a bad experience, but
You want to let him listen to her, or you want to keep talking?
yeah, because I'm gonna.
All right, here comes Charity.
.531 is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Monday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, President Biden delivers the keynote address tonight at the DNC in Chicago. And an investigation continues after 2 shootings near a local military base. We'll have details, first traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your Weather Channel forecast for this Monday. Heat advisory until 8 o'clock tonight. Partly cloudy, a high near 103. Tonight's low in the upper 70s. Right now, 80 degrees. Well, it's the Democrats' time in the spotlight, and many Texans are there. Michael Board has more on Decision 2024.
The Democratic National Convention starts today in Chicago, and those who are there say there's a buzz in the air. Congressman Joaquin Castro of San Antonio says there's a sense of renewed optimism.
You've seen these Zooms that are drawing hundreds of thousands of people. People feel like this is a fresh start.
He says there will be a lot of talk about jobs, inflation, and both child care and health care coverage. The headliners include 3 presidents, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden will speak. The convention runs through Thursday. Michael Board, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
Meantime, there are security concerns ahead of the DNC. Here's Fox's Jeff Manasso.
You're not rioting in my city. That message to protesters from Police Superintendent Larry Snelling amid reports that tens of thousands of activists will protest the DNC over issues like the economy, the illegal immigration crisis, and the Israel-Hamas war. Coalition and U.S. Palestinian Community Network's Hatim Abudaya last week blasted the city. He says we're trying to suppress protest voices.
Someone doesn't want us to talk about Palestine, about Genocide Joe and Killer Kamala's support of genocide. And this is a shocking violation of our First Amendment rights.
Many Chicago businesses near the convention have also been boarding up windows as a precaution. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Speaking on Fox News Sunday, former President Trump's running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, urged all Republicans to get their votes in to secure a second Trump presidency.
I feel extremely confident that we're going to be in the right place come November. We can't worry about polls. We have to run through the finish line and encourage everybody to get out there and vote. But our message is going to be very simple. If you want to get back to the peace and prosperity, the rising take-home pay, Donald Trump delivered it once, and he can do it again.
And Trump flip-flopped on his stance on mail-in voting, once calling it corrupt and blaming it for his loss in 2020. He's now encouraging his supporters to vote early by mail and absentee ballots to swamp the vote. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Israel today as talks of a new ceasefire between Israel and Hamas in Gaza continue. While meeting with Israeli President Isaac Herzog in Tel Aviv, Secretary Blinken warned against those seeking to disrupt the negotiations.
It is time for it to get done. It's also time to make sure that no one takes any steps that could derail this process.
Hamas is still holding roughly 110 people hostages, including 8 Americans. Authorities are investigating after a shooting near a local military base prompted the base's security team to return fire. Lisa Carton reports.
Officials say early Saturday morning, suspects twice opened fire on the entrance to a training annex, part of Joint Base San Antonio-Lackland. At around 2 a.m., security personnel reportedly heard shots and the sound of bullets whizzing past them. Around 3 hours later, shots were fired from a sedan stopped near the gate, causing Air Force security officers to return fire. No injuries were reported, and the identity of the shooters remains unknown. I'm Lisa Carton.
Investigators are trying to determine the cause of a fire yesterday afternoon at a hot tub store on the city's north side. San Antonio firefighters responded around 2:30 p.m. to the blaze at Spa Crafters on North Loop 1604 near Redland Road. Materials including plastic and fiberglass were burning in the warehouse, and the fire spread to several vehicles outside the building, as well as storage and shipping containers. No injuries were reported. Well, Texas Democrats plan to challenge new executive order from the governor's office. Beth Meyer has details.
Governor Greg Abbott is demanding that the state's hospitals account for the cost of treating illegal immigrants. Congressman Al Green says that's nothing more than a political stunt.
How will it be done, given that persons are not required to show papers to get emergency health care?
He says migrants pay taxes too. A new report from the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy found that Texas gets about $5 billion annually from those in the country illegally. That hospital data collection starts in November. I'm Beth Myers, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
The Bexar County Sheriff's Office is investigating the deaths of an elderly couple after a shooting over the weekend. Deputies responded around 2 p.m. Saturday to a home on Quarter Moon in the northeast part of the county. They found a man and woman dead with several gunshot wounds each. Deputies questioned 2 other people who were in the home at the time of the shooting. The case is being investigated as a double homicide. It is 5:37 now with breaking crime news from around the country. Here's Nancy Grace. Traffic and weather together in a minute, but first, to check of your money in the world of business, we say good morning to Ed Corey, live at the Bloomberg News Desk. All right, thanks, Ed. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
San Antonio's first news. She's Charity McCurdy. That's Mr. T, Tim Merriman. Charlie Parker with Those Were the Days at 6:48. Andrew Zimmel and EJ Pacheco doing the heavy lifting, flying the Millennium Falcon. And this is opening night for the Democratic National Convention. Your headliner, as Charity has been reported, is President Joe Biden. You'll also hear from the First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and a welcome from Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson.
Yeah, apparently President Biden spent the weekend at Camp David working on this keynote DNC address with his top aides. I imagine he'll heap a lot of praise on Kamala Harris as he symbolically passes the torch. But my eye is really going to be glued on whether these protests really disrupt the DNC. They're expecting like 100,000 plus pro-Palestinian protesters. So things could get ugly. And, you know, the last thing you want is a repeat of those 1968 violent clashes we saw at the DNC.
Speaking of which, the Hill talked to Chicago political operative Victor Reyes, and he says if they want to disrupt and, you know, take all the attention away from this convention, they're going to have to, you know, get arrested, disrupt it, create mayhem. And that's not something you want to hear told to demonstrators outside of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. Charity just mentioned 1968, and this could be really close to that.
Yeah, and you've got to wonder if some of these protesters are inspired by 1968, realizing that you can disrupt a political convention on a large scale. And Charity, just the sheer number of protesters, I mean, it sure sounds like they're going to be outnumbering law enforcement. And it seems to me that just from their sheer numbers, they can certainly create havoc should they choose to.
Well, you know, the National Guard is on standby in case they are needed. But when you consider all the high-profile individuals, including former presidents that are going to be in town, I think you can't look anywhere without seeing some kind of security officer, police officer, Secret Service on the street corner there, making sure that this DNC goes off without a hitch.
Well, they do have designated protest zones set up. You know that protesters are going to go straight to those zones and stay in those zones. No, they're not. They're not. I mean, it's nice. It's a great idea. Let's put a, zone for just protest only. No, it's not going to work like that.
Well, and it makes you wonder, if you were so inclined, if you were a terrorist, and if you wanted to do an act of terror, you're going to have so many protesters. As Charity mentions, so many high-profile Democrat lawmakers there. You've got to wonder if, in addition to everything else, if a terror threat how big of a concern that is on the radar of Secret Service and law enforcement.
Yeah, everyone's been on edge. This has been a very volatile political presidential election year so far with the attempted assassination on former President Trump. I would imagine it's all hands on deck approach when it comes to security.
We've said it before and we'll say it again. We are living in fascinating times. I mean, this is something that, I was alive in 1968, but I was very young in 1968. So everything I learned about that was after the fact, but we're going to live through this.
Yeah, being an older man than you are, believe it or not. I as a kid, I remember the mayhem on the television from Chicago because, that was the year earlier in the year. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated on April 4th. June 5th, Bobby Kennedy shot at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles. So it was just a tumultuous year, 1968. And the capper, or one of the cappers, certainly was all of that violence in Chicago. We will be all over it. We are Your Decision 2024 headquarters. A little bit later, White House correspondent John Decker with the latest on what we expect from Chicago tonight and this week at the Democratic National Convention. Coming up, we go back in time with Flashback. We'll try to figure out what year we land in. WOAI News Time, 546.
And we're back.
Hey, everybody.
58, Chris.
58, beautiful. Thank you.
I have 3.
Oh, cool. Thanks for that.
I've actually seen somebody reading a newspaper while driving.
Wow.
Actually had the newspaper up on the steering wheel, reading it while he was driving. Yes. Oh, you know what? Hang on. Today's not the 12th, is it?
A week ago today.
Hang on. We can do it real quick. It's working, right? Okay. Great. Hang on.
Louis, welcome in. Bob, Travis, Tim, RK, Tommy Miller jumping in here. Kemper. Welcome in, everybody. Jim Munoz, welcome.
Oh, man. You know what? Play it anyway. It's air. It's erroring on me. Hang on. Hang on. Yeah, screw it. They're not in there.
You want me to try to play it off the game?
Yeah, pick 72. But don't tell Chris. Fuck.
Where did that crash happen? The guy eating his chicken wings?
Buffalo.
In Buffalo?
Yeah. She can go. All right, screw it.
Gosh, this is a year old by now.
What's that?
This
Yeah, I know.
promo.
That's fine. Because you don't know how to do it, right?
It is time to go back in time. But what year will we land in? See if you can figure it out. We will try to figure it out. Let's play flashback. Ding.
You dinged it.
Well, this was not, I thought it was 1969 Woodstock until I heard the other clues. When was the millennial Woodstock?
1994.
That was 94. Charity, you good with 94?
I'm good with 94.
94. Let's find out.
There you go.
1994. It wasn't a very good Woodstock, to be honest.
It was horrible.
Charity, what else are you following?
The Illinois National Guard will be in Chicago to assist local police during the Democratic National Convention as it gets underway today. Gunshots rang out over the weekend near Joint Base San Antonio Lackland, and the Bernie Little League team takes on the Florida team tonight in the Little League World Series. We'll have the very latest coming up right now, traffic and weather.
Lots of sunshine and hot today, tomorrow, and on Wednesday. Forecast high 103 today, but it's going to feel hotter because we have a heat advisory till 8 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow and on Wednesday, forecast highs 105, 106 tomorrow, 106, 107 on Wednesday. It is 80 degrees at the Pearl downtown, 75 in New Braunfels, and 79 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 5:52.
San Antonio's first news, Charity McCurdy, Mr. T, Tim Merriman. Mr. T stepped outside a few minutes ago to look at that full moon.
I did.
That full super blue moon.
Now, can we get the building moved a little bit? Because I had to
know.
walk all the way across the parking lot to be able to see it.
Yeah, we
And
gotta-
that's dangerous. I mean, you could have wild animal encounters, raccoons, coyotes.
I'm more worried about the people coming in the gate and flying across the parking lot.
that, yeah.
That too. That too. All right. Mr. T brought up a story, true story. In Buffalo, New York, a dude's driving his vehicle eating chicken wings and crashes into a car in front of him. Sadly, that was a state trooper he crashed into. Not good. We're asking you a couple of questions. Number one, what's the weirdest thing you ever saw somebody do behind the wheel? And number two, what are the toughest things to eat while driving? And we hope you don't eat. We're not advocating eating
No,
while
not
driving.
at all.
It
Not
is
at all.
not smart. Charity, how do we get that information?
The free iHeart Radio app. You just search 1200 WOAI, look for that red circle. That's the talkback button. Hit it, 30 seconds to sound off.
And this is what it would sound like.
Good morning and happy Monday. I think the worst thing I've seen when I'm driving is a woman applying mascara with the visor down, looking in the mirror. I just can't imagine doing that while I'm driving. But if you have little kids, take them outside to look at the moon. I started that tradition with my girls. And now, although we all live in different places, we always text each other, hey, go out and look at the moon. Have a great Monday.
That's a good point.
So cool. Yeah, I love it. And,
Yes.
And that was Kemper, of course. And you can still see they're not as close as they were last week, but Jupiter and Mars over the eastern horizon still in close proximity. And so you got the moon right now kind of setting to the west, and you've got Jupiter and Mars above the eastern horizon.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It is.
Very nice.
Let's go out and check in with our truck driver in Pennsylvania.
Good morning, WOAI. This is Jose, and I'm trucking over here in Pennsylvania. Well, since I've been trucking for 27 years, I have seen it all. From people on their cell phones, on their laptop computers, eating, and sexual acts. And I'm not going to get into it because I know this is a family show. So please, people, be careful out there. Be very careful. Alrighty? Y'all have a good, happy Monday. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Was there autopilot involved?
Yes.
You know? I
You
mean,
know?
Well, and first of all, Jose in Pennsylvania, you think a trucker probably has
Oh.
seen more on the road than the rest of us.
Uh-huh.
But to the sexual acts, I mean, you're going 70 miles an hour down the. And granted, sometimes
things can happen, Chris.
yes,
Yes.
you want to. I mean, I know you're enjoying the moment, but you want to risk your life.
mm.
Is it worth it?
Yeah,
Is it?
No.
Is it?
Well,
Let's just not even ponder that, shall we?
Yeah, pull
God,
over.
That's why
But-
God created rest stops.
That's why. I was wondering all this
okay.
time. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Or get a room, you know?
Yeah, get a
hotel,
room.
Get a room
hotel.
is a good idea.
Because
There
once
was
again-
a movie we talked about it last week. The World According to Garp.
Yes.
Oh,
There was.
gosh.
I won't get graphic, but
Please
there was a sexual encounter going on in a car.
It
And
did not end well.
It did not end well.
It did
so
not.
You got to be.
That was kind of a depressing movie.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that
Robin
movie.
Williams was phenomenal.
Oh,
but
so
yeah.
was John Lithgow. It was great.
yeah.
The whole movie was
Yeah.
great.
Yes,
All right, you want to check in with our favorite school teacher?
of course.
Hey guys, Stephen from Lotto. And the worst thing I see is the women putting on their makeup with that eyeliner pencil. What if you poke your eye out doing that? Hey, do you know what it's called when two dinosaurs crash? Tyrannosaurus Rex. Hey, well, I remember when I took a driving test, I got 9 out of 10. The last guy had time to get out of the way. Y'all have a safe driving Monday.
Very nice. Very nice.
Look, I've seen a guy reading a newspaper while driving. Had the newspaper up on his steering wheel and is actually driving, going through the newspaper at the same time. And this is back when newspapers were
Yes,
prevalent.
back when people
Yes.
read newspapers.
Yes.
And back when
Now
newspapers.
they're just looking at their phones.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I hate when people are holding their phone and they clearly have it on speakerphone. So
Yeah.
just set it down on the seat next to you and have the conversation. Why do you have to hold the device when you're using the speaker feature? I don't get it.
Yeah. It is hands free, though, right? That's what we're
That's
trying to
what
do.
we're
yeah.
trying to do.
And
Yeah.
most cars less than 10 or 15 years
Yes.
old have the ability
Yes.
to go Bluetooth and
Yes.
just talk to somebody on your car speakers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Even though you can often hear other people's conversation.
No.
if
I do
you're-
in a parking lot.
Yes.
Yes, you
Yes,
can.
definitely.
I'm kind of paranoid about talking on, Bluetooth because I don't want everyone knowing my business. You know, if they're walking by my car, you can clearly hear the conversation. It's crazy.
None of my business is worth anybody listening, so it doesn't matter.
They would recognize Charity's voice.
That's true.
wow.
It will cause a traffic jam.
Sounds like Charity McCurdy. She's not talking about the news. Can you believe this conversation? Wow. Charity will be talking about the news at the top of the hour. It's what she does. Lots more coming up. San Antonio's first news, WOAI News Time, 5:58.
Chris is going to take care of some business. He will return shortly. Bitch.
6 o'clock is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Monday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, the DNC kicks off today in Chicago, and Joint Base San Antonio Lackland officials continue to investigate a weekend shooting. We'll have details first, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your Weather Channel forecast for this Monday: heat advisory until 8 o'clock tonight. Partly cloudy, a high near 103. Tonight's low in the upper 70s. Right now, 80 degrees. The Democratic National Convention kicks off tonight with President Biden passing the torch to his Vice President, Kamala Harris. Fox's Jared Halpern has more on Decision 2024.
Before July 21st, this convention was all about electing President Biden to a second term. Instead, the president will address delegates tonight before spending the rest of this week in California. In his keynote speech tonight, President Biden is expected to warn of a threat to democracy posed by former President Trump and why his partner, Vice President Kamala Harris, should be the next president. Harris won't formally accept the nomination until Thursday night, but she is expected to be in the United Center this evening for the president's address. First Lady Jill Biden and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton also rally delegates on this opening night. In Chicago, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
As the Democratic Party holds its convention in Chicago, a leading Republican senator says his party's nominee must focus his message. Here's Fox's Colonel Scott.
South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham is a staunch supporter of former President Donald Trump, but has been at times critical of him. On NBC's Meet the Press, Senator Graham said, given how close this election could be, he urges the former president to focus his message.
His policies are good for America, and if you have a policy debate for president, he wins. Donald Trump, the provocateur, the showman, may not win this election.
Senator Graham adds a specific message is what Republicans need with less than 3 months to Election Day. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Israel today as talks of a new ceasefire between Israel and Hamas in Gaza continue. While meeting with Israeli President Isaac Herzog in Tel Aviv, Secretary Blinken called for all sides to agree to the ceasefire.
It is time for everyone to get to yes and to not look for any excuses to say no.
Hamas is still holding roughly 110 people hostage. 8 Americans are among the hostages. A San Antonio police officer is out of a job for failing to pat down a teen who fatally shot himself in the Bexar County Jail earlier this year. Body cam footage showed Officer Abdiel Munoz and other officers failed to pat down 19-year-old Jesus Gonzalez during the booking process after his arrest back in March. Gonzalez pulled a gun out of his clothing and shot himself. Munoz was given an indefinite suspension on July 29th. Well, security is being beefed up around Joint Base San Antonio Lackland after shooters exchanged gunfire with guards over the weekend.
JBSA Lackland officials and San Antonio police say there were 2 incidents in the overnight hours of Saturday. SAPD says around 2 a.m., unknown suspects fired rounds at the Chapman Training Annex main gate. More security was added afterwards, and about 3 hours later, a sedan stopped east of the entrance gate and shots were fired at Air Force guards a second time. They returned fire. Police say the suspects are not military related but have no other info at this time. No injuries were reported, and officials believe there is no threat to the base. Eric Lycum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
Texas Democrats plan to challenge a new edict from the governor's office demanding that the state's hospitals account for the cost of treating illegal immigrants.
Under federal law, hospitals must provide emergency care regardless of one's immigration status.
Congressman Al Green says migrants pay taxes too. A new report from the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy found that Texas receives about $5 billion annually from those in the country illegally. Well, Texas police are fighting for the right to use what they call less than lethal force. Rex Oates reports.
Things like tasers and beanbag guns are used as alternatives to firearms when responding to riots. Jennifer Samansky with Cleat says they saved lives during the Black Lives Matter protests in Austin and Dallas.
Was instrumental in de-escalating a situation that could have turned into a deadly force encounter had the option not been available.
But nearly 24 police were indicted for their actions during those protests. Rioters who were destroying cars and businesses were subdued with less than lethal force. 17 of those charges have since been dropped. I'm Rex Oates, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
The Bernie Little League team takes on the Florida team tonight in the Little League World Series. The Southwest Region champions scored a 9-0 shutout of Newtown, Pennsylvania on Thursday night. Bernie plays this evening against Lake Mary, the Southeast Region champions, who won last Wednesday and Friday. First pitch in Williamsport, Pennsylvania is at 6 o'clock tonight. It is 6:06, news at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Sheridan McCurdy, traffic and weather coming up.
San Antonio's first news under a super blue moon, a full moon that is fully illuminated officially at 1:26 this afternoon, but kind of need to be in Europe or Africa to see it at that time.
So road trip?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Let's get on Elon Musk's
There you
jet or rocket, if you dare,
Rocket would
and
be
get to the other
probably
side of
faster.
the earth. That's Mr. T, Tim Merriman. She's Charity McCurdy. Charlie Parker with Those Were the Days at 6:48. At 6:40, White House correspondent John Decker with what we can expect tonight at the Democratic National Convention. But today and all this week, the heat is going to be excessive and perhaps life-threatening. We'll talk about the heat advisory coming right up. But first, let's get you caught up on traffic and weather together.
Lots of sunshine, lots of heat. Heat advisory in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. Forecast high today, 103, 106 tomorrow, 107 on Sunday. It is 75 degrees in New Braunfels, 79 in Alamo Heights, 79 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 6:11.
San Antonio's first news, and as we just heard Mr. T give our weather forecast, Charity and T, you look at the multi-day Weather Channel forecast, the high temperatures, and this is not heat index.
No.
102 today, 105 tomorrow, 106 on Wednesday, 103 Thursday, and 100 on Friday.
Cool front.
And it's going to fluctuate. You know, earlier this morning, I saw 107 for a potential high.
Wow.
For Wednesday. So it's just, I think this is a sign, though, that fall is coming. August wants to give us that last punch in the face with this blistering heat, but I think that means a cool down is on the way.
So when you say cool down, what, down into the 90s?
Or high 80s.
High 80s?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Very optimistic, Charity, and we bring up these scorching temperatures that we're going to have all week. And say, oh, this just means that fall is coming.
Which always brings me to when you see temperatures like this that are forecast and the heat index is going to make it even hotter. These poor guys that work outside, you know, roofers, construction workers, and there's construction all over this entire state. So these guys are out there working. God bless them.
Oh, yeah.
And it's brutal because they have to wear the long sleeves, you know, those cool shirts, which I guess when they sweat, that helps
It's
cool
like
them
air
down.
conditioning. Yeah.
Built-in air conditioning. But still, it's brutal. I see them with those pop-up tents on the side of the road just to get some shade. It's brutal.
And a big bottom line, though, this is potentially life-threatening heat for all of us, and certainly for children and the elderly. Be very, very vigilant. If you've got neighbors that you can check on, especially elderly neighbors, check on them. And we don't say it enough, pets. Some people go out and they walk their dog on the pavement midday when the pavement temperatures are absolutely scorching. You just got to be very aware of how dangerous this heat can be.
It really is. And I mean, the heat index up to 110 possibly today. I don't even think the pool can cool you down at that point. I mean,
let's put ice cubes in it.
I had a neighbor friend that told me the pool temperature registered like in the 90s.
Yeah.
So you really don't even get any relief when you're in the pool.
Just when you get wet and you get out, and if there is a little breeze, that's it. But you think about going back to the pets, all right? If you're going to take your dog and walk it in the afternoon, take your shoes off, step on the pavement, see how long you can stand there barefoot. If you can't, your dog can't either.
Huge point. Huge point. People need to be very, very aware of that. And just hydrate is the other. I mean, I mean, what if you're out in this and you don't expect to be out in it? What if you have car trouble? What if your car becomes disabled on the side of the road and you haven't been hydrating? That's why it's always a good idea in weather like this. Bring a beverage with you.
Bring an ice chest.
Ideally water. I'm not talking about beer.
No, bring an ice chest and ice down some water.
Bring something to help you out and just Stay hydrated because when it gets you, it sneaks up on you pretty quickly. And when you have heat exhaustion or heat stroke, I mean, once you get to that level, you're in big trouble.
Amen.
Do you guys have a plan B should the AC go out in your home? Do you have like a window unit or anything you could bring in the house?
No, it's called La Quinta.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
it's happened before.
It's
and-
called North Star Mall.
Yeah, we've hit a
Go to the
hotel.
mall and just hang out in the food court.
Or just walk around it, put your tracksuit on and walk
Okay.
around.
Get my
Fit
10,000
right in.
steps for my Fitbit.
I'll have to consider that.
Yeah.
Or a movie.
That's not a bad idea.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
An actual movie
Or a
in a
couple
theater.
movies.
What a concept. I can't even remember. It was pre-pandemic. I can't remember when I was last in a movie theater. I got to do that again someday.
I saw Inside Out too with my daughter.
I can't wait to
last
see
month.
it, by the way.
It was great. Yeah.
I love the first one, so the second one should be really good.
Very, very cool. Coming up, we will preview the Democratic National Convention, which is tonight. And your headliner is President Joe Biden. WOAI News Time, 6:15.
And we're back.
Hey, everybody.
All right, so we got roosters and one more.
Rooster in the morning says a cock-a-doodle-doo. Hector Gomez, good morning.
That's funny. Who is this? Oh, Jim. Storyteller. Storyteller's got a good one. Tell old Kemper I said have a good day.
Does he say that again?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He says that at every one of them.
Kemper's got a lot of fans.
This guy is funny as
There
hell.
should be an official Kemper fan club.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kemper wants to know who is Storyteller.
His name is Jim.
His name is Jim. We know that.
You want his phone number? I can get. No, I'm just kidding.
You could actually.
He
Had
lives in New
Barry
Braunfels.
Manilow played last
Yeah.
Thursday night.
He lives in New Braunfels. That's all I can
Lives
tell
in
you.
New Braunfels. Okay. Assuming Barry is okay, I got to do a search on Barry, see if there's an update on his condition. Assuming Barry is okay, Kemper should meet Storyteller on August 30th, which is a week from Friday. Going to search Twitter for Barry Manilow, see if there's any updates.
I guess people in Floresville are getting smarter. I went out yesterday morning early, hit the car wash, one where you stand out and spray it because my car was filthy. So I was washing it off.
Yeah.
Man, I almost had to wait. All the bays were filled up with people before 8 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
When you get out there before it gets too hot. So right now I have and we're back. right, let's see what time you need to be out here. 26, Chris.
26. Thank you.
26. It's good because we're going to be late anyway, so 26 works.
Okay.
The Connecticut's flooded. Wow. What is Biffy and Muff going to do? Hey, look, it's Sister Joy. Here we go. Promo than us.
Okay. Just ahead of headlines, traffic and weather together, and inspired by a story of a gentleman driving while eating chicken wings and crashing into a state trooper. We're asking you on the Talkback feature of the free iHeartRadio app, what are the weirdest things you've ever seen going on behind the wheel, and what are the most difficult foods to eat while you're driving? But first, Charity McCurdy, what stories are you tracking?
The current president and 2 former presidents are among the speakers at the DNC, which kicks off today. A Texas UPS driver is recovering after he crashed his truck when he reportedly passed out from the heat. And another arrest has been made in the murder of a Sonic drive-thru manager on the city's northwest side. We'll have the very latest coming up right now, traffic and weather.
Lots of sunshine, and it's going to be hot. 103 forecast for today. There's a heat advisory till 8 o'clock. You know it's going to feel hotter than 103. Tomorrow, 105, 106. Sunday, 107. It is 76 degrees in Bernie, 78 at the Snake Farm, and 78 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 6:22. 8:22 would be something to look forward to, right?
Somewhere off the coast of the Eastern Seaboard, out
it's
in the
8:22
Atlantic.
somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah,
Bermuda.
somewhere.
Maybe in Bermuda.
Maybe.
As we speak. Tonight, it's opening night for the Democratic National Convention. The headliner, as Charity has been reporting, will be President Joe Biden. We'll also hear his wife, the First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, speak. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, will speak. I have a feeling she won't say nice things about Donald Trump. And we'll hear a welcome from Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. That's kind of interesting. His name is Brandon, given the Republican mantra, let's go, Brandon.
I wonder if you'll hear that chant at all while he's on the stage.
We might hear it. And Charity, as you brought up earlier, my goodness, so many pro-Palestinian protesters have descended upon Chicago. Going to be interesting to see how their protests might be held, and if they might turn violent, and will law enforcement be able to quell those protests?
Yeah, they're expecting at least 100,000 protesters outside the DNC, and the Illinois National Guard is on standby just in case. I think you're going to be seeing security ramped up to the highest level possible to prevent a repeat of what we saw back in 1968 when the DNC was taking place in Chicago.
Yeah, and it's amazing that many people are traveling to Chicago, because not all these protesters are from Chicago, traveling in there. And once again, there are designated protest zones So they're not going to go outside those zones, Chris. They're going to stay right in that zone, but they might have to expand it if there's too many people. They got to make the zones a little bit bigger.
And can you imagine traveling to Chicago right now? I mean, when South by Southwest happens in Austin, room rates, both at hotels and at Airbnbs, go through the roof. If you're a protester, I don't know if you have a lot of money. Now, some people say that major billionaires, fund these protesters. Maybe even some terrorist organizations might be funding them. So maybe they do have the money for lodging, but you got to wonder if you're traveling to Chicago, especially this week, that's got to be an expensive proposition.
Yeah, it's a major layover destination too for flyers. So that's just something to keep in mind as well. But yeah, it's going to be, people have been ramping up for this for, months in advance. And you just wonder if all the buzz and momentum that Kamala Harris has been seeing in her campaign so far will continue. I think a lot hinges on what President Biden has to say tonight and his keynote speech, and maybe, her speech as well when she formally accepts the nomination Thursday night.
Yeah, that'll be interesting as well. Plus, I wonder if some of these protesters are just setting up tents like they did, on the campuses around the country when they were protesting, and they're just going to camp out there all night.
And I wonder if a Chicago city ordinance will allow or disallow that. Going to be fascinating to keep an eye on not only what happens in that convention hall, but outside with regard to the protesters. Coming up at 6:40, White House correspondent John Decker on what we can expect from this Democratic National Convention. WOAI News Time, 6:26.
Guess what? We're back.
We are back.
Back again.
I hope you took Kemper's advice and saw the full moon out there. It's pretty cool. Should be close to setting. In fact, I think I had moon set here. Moon set 6:46. So it sets in 20 minutes, according to the Weather Channel.
Okay. Gotta love them. Gotta love them.
I'm going to do a little more editing on my spot. So I'll be right back.
Yeah, I hope you're feeling better, Travis. We hate when we have puny mateys in our audience.
6:30 is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Monday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, President Biden delivers the keynote address tonight at the DNC. An investigation continues after 2 shootings near a local military base. We'll have details coming up. First, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your Weather Channel forecast for this Monday. Heat advisory until 8 o'clock tonight. Partly cloudy, a high near 103. Tonight's low near 78. Right now, 80 degrees. Well, it's the Democrats' time in the spotlight, and many Texans are there. Michael Board has more on Decision 2024.
The Democratic National Convention starts today in Chicago, and those who are there say there's a buzz in the air. Congressman Joaquin Castro of San Antonio says there's a sense of renewed optimism.
You've seen these Zooms that are drawing hundreds of thousands of people. People feel like this is a fresh start.
He says there will be a lot of talk about jobs, inflation, and both child care and health care coverage. The headliners include 3 presidents, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden will speak. The convention runs through Thursday. Michael Board, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
Meantime, there are security concerns ahead of the DNC. Here's Fox's Jeff Manasso.
You're not rioting in my city. That message to protesters from Police Superintendent Larry Snelling amid reports that tens of thousands of activists will protest the DNC over issues like the economy, the illegal immigration crisis, and the Israel-Hamas war. Coalition and U.S. Palestinian Community Network's Hatim Abudaya last week blasted the city. He says we're trying to suppress protest voices.
Someone doesn't want us to talk about Palestine, about Genocide Joe and Killer Kamala's support of genocide. And this is a shocking violation of our First Amendment rights.
Many Chicago businesses near the convention have also been boarding up windows as a precaution. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Speaking on Fox News Sunday, former President Trump's running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, urged all Republicans to get their votes in to secure a second Trump presidency.
I feel extremely confident that we're going to be in the right place come November. We can't worry about polls. We have to run through the finish line and encourage everybody to get out there and vote. But our message is going to be very simple. If you want to get back to the peace and prosperity, the rising take-home pay, Donald Trump delivered it once and he can do it again.
And Trump flip-flopped on his stance on mail-in voting, once calling it corrupt and blaming it for his loss in 2020. He's now encouraging his supporters to vote early by mail and absentee ballots to swamp the vote. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Israel today as talks of a new ceasefire between Israel and Hamas in Gaza continue. While meeting with Israel's president in Tel Aviv, Secretary Blinken warned against those seeking to disrupt the negotiations.
It is time for it to get done. It's also time to make sure that no one takes any steps that could derail this process.
Hamas is still holding roughly 110 people hostage. 8 Americans are among the hostages. Authorities are investigating after a shooting near a local military base prompted the base's security team to return fire. Lisa Carton has details.
Officials say early Saturday morning, suspects twice opened fire on the entrance to a training annex, part of Joint Base San Antonio Lackland. At around 2 a.m., security personnel reportedly heard shots and the sound of bullets whizzing past them. Around 3 hours later, shots were fired from a sedan stopped near the gate, causing Air Force security officers to return fire. No injuries were reported, and the identity of the shooters remains unknown. I'm Lisa Carton.
Investigators are trying to determine the cause of a fire Sunday afternoon at a hot tub store on the north side. San Antonio firefighters responded around 2:30 p.m. to the blaze at Spa Crafters on North Loop 1604 East near Redland Road. Materials including plastic and fiberglass were burning in the warehouse, and the fire spread to several vehicles outside, as well as storage and shipping containers. No injuries were reported. Well, Texas Democrats plan to challenge a new executive order from Governor Abbott's office. Beth Myers reports.
The Bernie All-Stars dominated their game against Williamsport Thursday night from the first pitch. 3 Bernie batters hit home runs, including a bases-loaded grand slam from Cole Newsom as the All-Stars rang up a 9-0 victory over their Mid-Atlantic opponents. This fan tells News 4 it's more than just the small town rooting for the team.
Making sure that our boys know how supported they really truly are from our small community, as well as the greater Southwest region with the surrounding cities like San Antonio.
Relief pitcher Julian Hurst retired all 12 batters he faced. The All-Stars will take on the Southeast Regional champs from Lake Mary, Florida tonight. First pitch, 6 p.m. Eric Lycum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
And Beth Myers reports on Texas Democrats' plan to challenge a new executive order from Governor Abbott's office.
Governor Greg Abbott is demanding that the state's hospitals account for the cost of treating illegal immigrants. Congressman Al Green says that's nothing more than a political stunt.
How will it be done, given that persons are not required to show papers to get emergency health care?
He says migrants pay taxes too. A new report from the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy found that Texas gets about $5 billion annually from those in the country illegally. That hospital data collection starts in November. I'm Beth Myers, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
The Bexar County Sheriff's Office is investigating the deaths of an elderly couple after a shooting over the weekend. Deputies responded around 2 p.m. Saturday to a home on Quarter Moon in the northeast part of the county. They found a man and woman dead with several gunshot wounds. Deputies questioned 2 other people who were in the home at the time of the shooting. The case is being investigated as a double homicide. Well, here's a look at the films that dominated the weekend box office.
The first Alien film premiered 45 years ago. Now the newest installment.
Stop playing around, man. Just get out. I'm not playing around. I'm swimming in the water.
Alien Romulus won the weekend, earning $41.5 million in ticket sales. In second place this week, the superhero team-up Deadpool and Wolverine.
You were an X-Man. You were the X-Man.
The Marvel blockbuster now in its 4th week, pulling in another $29 million, making almost $546 million over the last month. Of course, actor Ryan Reynolds plays Deadpool. His wife, Blake Lively's latest film, finishing 3rd this week, the romantic drama It Ends With Us, made $24 million and now has made almost $98 million in its 2 weeks in theaters. Ann Carrick, Fox News.
It is 6:37. Traffic and weather together in a minute, but first, check of your money and the world of business. Ed Corey is live at the Bloomberg News Desk. All right, thanks, Ed. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
San Antonio's first news. Mr. T, Tim Merriman, Charity McCurdy, and me, Chris Duell. Charlie Parker coming right up with Those Were the Days. But tonight's a big night for the Democrats, opening night of the Democratic National Convention. The headliner, President Joe Biden. A big part of our Decision 2024 coverage is White House correspondent and attorney John Decker. John, what do you expect to hear from the president tonight?
Well, first of all, when he's introduced, I am expecting a thunderous applause from those at the United Center in Chicago. And the reason being is because they feel, those Democrats in that convention hall feel that their chances have increased dramatically now that Joe Biden has dropped out of the race, withdrawn from the race, passed the baton to his vice president, Kamala Harris. So that's the first thing I'm expecting. I would not be surprised to see Kamala Harris on that stage with Joe Biden this evening, essentially getting that baton from the president, and then he's off. He's actually leaving after his speech this evening, heading out for a week of R&R in California. So he's not going to be in Chicago this week, and it's so different from what he thought was going to take place just a few months ago when he thought he's going to be the party's nominee. He was going to give his convention speech on Thursday night, and that would be the culmination of the lead up to potentially his second term in the White House. Was it meant to be? And that's one of the things that we'll see this evening at the convention center in Chicago.
John, with all that happened leading up to the RNC last month, it seemed impossible to top that excitement that we saw during their convention. Do you think Democrats have that same energy going into this week?
Well, I do believe that what we have seen is a sustained level of energy. We don't know if it's hit its peak. You see this, Charity, in the polls that have come out, both national polls as well as some of the polls for the battleground states as well. It's a real change in the race. And it's essentially a dead heat between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. When you factor in that poll after poll shows that whoever is leading, it's within the poll's margin of error. And what Democrats are hoping comes out of this week is a further boost, a further bump in those polls that we've seen over the course of the last month.
Meanwhile, you're going to have protesters outside of the area of where around the United Center, and we're talking thousands and thousands of protesters. You think that they'll be peaceful? You think we'll see anything like we saw in 1968?
Well, there's always agitators that are attracted to these protests, and those people may or may not be associated with some of the views that the protesters who are there peacefully are trying to protest against. They're protesting primarily against the administration's policies as it relates to the Middle East, the war in Gaza. My hope, I think everybody's hope, is that these are peaceful protests, people exercising their First Amendment rights. But that's the real concern, I think, for Democrats, also obviously law enforcement, is that these protests get out of hand. And if they get out of hand, as far as the political messaging is concerned, it may eclipse that political messaging that is coming out of Chicago this week.
John, I find it interesting as you detail that President Joe Biden, after his speech tonight, he's leaving town, R&R in California. I was wondering, would he be on that stage, raising Kamala Harris's arm along with Tim Walz in victory after she accepted the nomination? Do you think that would just be too awkward of a look, not only for the president, but for Kamala Harris? Is that the thinking behind leaving early?
Well, I think it's painful. It's a bittersweet moment for Joe Biden. He has been in politics, been in public service his entire life. Of course, being elected president in 2020 was the realization of a lifelong goal, ambition, dream. And as last month, he essentially gave it all up, even though he was the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee. So what they are doing tonight, what Democrats decided to do, is let Joe Biden be the keynote speaker. Let him lead off essentially this convention. We will also hear from Jill Biden today and also from Hillary Clinton. But Joe Biden will be the focus. His speech will be in prime time tonight. He'll certainly talk about what he views as his accomplishments over the course of his term in office, and also what Kamala Harris offers Democrats and the country now that she is the Democratic presidential nominee.
He is our go-to guy on all things involving the presidency. White House correspondent and attorney John Decker. Coming up, Charlie Parker with Those Were the Days. WOAI News Time 645. I'll read this to you later.
Okay. What is it?
Text
From
Terry.
No. God, these kids. Kids, I tell you. What time this morning did it say?
Does not say. Says this morning, so before noon.
You would hope.
Yep. Eddie, welcome in. Sickapolin, welcome. Eddie, Tim, Sickapolin, Tommy, Kemper still in here. Welcome in, everybody.
And we're back. Sorry, we're just discussing something. I'm thinking at 7:20 with Noah Pelka. Let's talk some back to school stuff.
Okay.
Why not?
Yeah, I wish we had that list of, we know it's north side.
North side, Somerset, and Southwest.
Okay.
I just saw it up there again.
All right, that's good enough.
Yeah. So it's North side, Southwest, and Somerset, along with everybody else that's already in session.
And we might have to talk about, we need some kind of a bet, Jay versus Holmes.
Okay.
And I have no idea who's supposed to.
To be honest with you,
supposed to be any good
I
this
haven't
year.
followed them in quite some time, so.
Like 1978 for me.
Yeah. He's not going to play my spot, and I'm going to go in there and we're going to have words. Okay,
Rooster, what is up?
What up, Rooster?
Now, Rooster said he may be the lead singer of, after what we heard Jolene, he's too good.
I know, yeah. You're
Part
too
of,
good, man.
You're too good to be in chopped liver. You've got to be chopped liver to be in chopped liver.
Oh, man, I hate hearing that, Kemper. That sucks, man. Nothing worse.
Oh, no, Kemper.
Boone's Farm. Travis has got it. Travis has got the bet right there, man. Strawberry Hill, baby.
What, chug a full bottle of Boone's
I
Farm?
don't know about chugging it, but
That's not bad,
we'll
Travis.
bet a bottle.
That game is on August 31st. It comes
Yes.
up quickly.
We can bet a bottle of Boone's Farm.
Yes.
And, take it with us. I'm not chugging that.
12 days from now. Kemper, that's awful. That's so.
Yeah, that's horrible, man. Sorry, Kemp.
Pets are a member of the family.
Yes, they are.
And
We're pets are people too, Chris.
Pets are people too.
Hey.
Grumpy old fart is in here.
How can he be in here when he's doing those were the days
No,
right now?
It's this grumpy old
Oh, okay.
fart.
I'm sorry.
Welcome in, grumpy old fart.
You think that's Tracy Bogart? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Could be. Tracy Bogart has
he's been
many
yes, he does.
aliases across multiple platforms.
Yep. You are correct, sir.
Hi-yo.
All right, I've got 3 that we can play here. They're all on topic.
Beautiful.
I'm going to save Storyteller as the last one because this is hilarious.
Kemper, if you're still here, we're going to hear from Storyteller.
He's going to say, hello, Kemper. I said, hello. Have a good day.
So you said 3, correct?
3 correct. All on topic. Jill St. John. Damn. God, we're getting old.
So Kemper will be able to hear Storyteller?
Yeah.
Okay. She's still there.
She is still there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why he's not talking tonight. It's his birthday. He's going to be out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. In fact, with Hillary, speaking at the convention, it's Bill's
Yeah.
birthday.
Yep.
And here are some of the stories we're following. The curtain rises on the DNC in Chicago today. GOP VP candidate J.D. Vance is pushing back against recent polling, showing a surge in support for Kamala Harris. And Air Force security officers came under fire twice over the weekend. We'll have the latest right now, traffic and weather.
Lots of sunshine and hot. Heat advisory till 8 o'clock this evening. Highs 103 today, 106 tomorrow, 107 on Wednesday. It is 74 degrees in Kerrville, Texas, 78 in China Grove, and 79 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 6:54.
San Antonio's first news, that is Mr. T, Tim Merriman. She's Charity McCurdy. Our thanks to Charlie Parker for those were the days. I'm Chris Duell, Andrew Zimmel, and EJ Pacheco flying the Millennium Falcon. Andrew, manning our YouTube stream. You can find us on YouTube. Go to 1200 WOAI. Lots of people like Kemper and Rooster and Travis and Eddie and others. Trevin, Sickapolin are in there right now. And Mr. T, you brought up a news story out of Buffalo, New York that spurred our question for the people today.
Yes, a gentleman driving down the road eating buffalo wings in Buffalo and managed to rear end the car in front of him at a light. Just happened to be a state trooper.
Oh!
He got a ticket for distracted driving, which brings up the topic for our talk back. We see eating, texting. What's the most distracting thing you've seen somebody do behind the wheel? And if you're eating, what's a good food to eat when you're driving?
And what's a bad food to eat?
Yes, soup would be the worst.
Yeah, that would require a lot of special talent.
Yes, it would. Yes, it
Don't
would.
spill that soup when you're driving.
Unless it's gazpacho, it's
And-
not good.
And Charity, lots of people know how to leave us that information, but just in case, how do they get us that info?
The free iHeartRadio app, you search 1200 WOAI, you hit that red circle. That's the talkback button, 30 seconds to sound off.
Yeah, I know it's Monday, but here's Tuesday.
Good morning, WOAI news crew. This is Tuesday, and I work for a courier service. We had a younger kid working for us, and I don't know how he did it, but he ate Chinese food in this car. Well, have a great day. Stay cool.
Now, if he used chopsticks, I would be like, whoa.
Bonus points.
Whoa.
Bonus points if he's using chopsticks.
Well, he is a professional driver. All right, checking with RK.
Yeah, RK here. The best thing to eat while driving back in my unhealthy days was a quarter pounder with cheese. Now, you gals that have to put that makeup on while driving, you know, when you had that accident, you just gonna be half as ugly as before the accident, and you ain't gonna be impressing no EMTs. Everybody have a beautiful accident-free day.
Wow.
RK was brutal on that one. Yeah.
Now, he did speak the truth. I haven't eaten a quarter pounder in probably 25 years, thank God. But the quarter pounder, it all kind of sticks together.
It does, doesn't it?
So as far as a food item that you can eat with one hand, with the other hand on the wheel, that there's a good chance nothing's falling out of that quarter pounder while you're ingesting it while driving.
But I think even better would be like a taquito or a Slim Jim, something you can hold in
Sure.
one hand. Twizzlers, I think, would probably work well.
See, when I was quitting smoking, you know, one of the hardest parts was when I was driving. So I kept Twizzlers in my car, and I would put one in my mouth while I was driving like a cigarette.
Nice.
And it worked. It worked. So
Cool.
those were pretty clean and, you know, easy to get around with. All right, here's the best one. Here is Storyteller.
Good morning. It's the Storyteller. Well, I was driving down 281. Traffic was moving pretty steady, but the guy in front of me kept tapping on his brakes. I pulled around beside him and looked over, and there he was. Had a bowl of cereal in one hand and a spoon in the other. Just driving down 281, enjoying his Captain Crunch. Well, I couldn't help it. I laid on the horn. Milk went flying everywhere. I laughed all the way home. Tell old Kemper I said, have a good day.
I so wish, first of all, Storyteller's great. And he's fast approaching the Mount Rushmore.
Yes, he is.
We're going to have to bump Rooster off our Mount Rushmore for Storyteller. But I so wish the Barry Manilow concert wasn't postponed.
I know.
Last Thursday night, because we knew that Storyteller, I believe, was going to be in row 18, and Kemper was going to be in row 27, as was Jolene and Bob and Cindy. So
Yeah,
they could've
delayed
met.
chemistry, August 30th. So
Now, I've searched Charity and T. I haven't seen an update. There's supposed to be an Austin show tonight at the Moody Center for Barry Manilow. I have not seen an update yet on his condition. I hope he's back.
yeah, I mean, I hear it sticks around, that COVID, for at least a week. So
Yeah.
Yeah, now didn't he postpone 3 shows?
I think there were 3 shows. I
So-
think there was an Oklahoma City, San Antonio, and there was another one. I forgot where it was.
Not Austin?
No, Austin was still a go
It
for
still
Monday
was a go,
night
okay.
as of last
All right.
Thursday.
Well,
So
once
I
again,
don't know. I'll have to check that.
We'll get our crack research staff on there.
But hopefully, Barry is back in San Antonio for the reschedule on
the
August 30th. And
yes.
imagine if Storyteller meets Kemper in person. He'll have stories to tell.
He will.
And I'm hoping Kemper has photographic evidence on her social media that we can appreciate.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right.
Very
Well, I
cool.
just checked Barry's X account, and it says the Moody Center in Austin is good to go.
All right.
So,
Good news.
August-
All right.
Yeah. So
That
that's what I'm
means
showing.
Barry in San Antonio on
August
rescheduled
30th.
for August 30th is now much more likely.
Cool.
Excellent news. Perfect. Coming up at 7:10 in a segment we call Wait Till You Hear This, we'll listen in to former President Donald Trump's Pennsylvania rally from the weekend. But right now, Charity McCurdy with everything you need to know breaking in the world on this Monday morning as WOAI News Time is 7 o'clock.
Seven o'clock is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Monday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, the DNC kicks off today in Chicago, and Joint Base San Antonio Lackland officials continue to investigate a weekend shooting. Details coming up. First, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your Weather Channel forecast for this Monday. Heat advisory until 8 o'clock tonight. Partly cloudy, a high near 103. Tonight's low in the upper 70s. Right now, 80 degrees. The Democratic National Convention kicks off tonight with President Biden passing the torch to his Vice President Kamala Harris. Fox's Jared Halpern has more on Decision 2024.
Before July 21st, this convention was all about electing President Biden to a second term. Instead, the president will address delegates tonight before spending the rest of this week in California. In his keynote speech tonight, President Biden is expected to warn of a threat to democracy posed by former President Trump and why his partner, Vice President Kamala Harris, should be the next president. Harris won't formally accept the nomination until Thursday night, but she is expected to be in the United Center this evening for the president's address. First Lady Jill Biden and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton also rally delegates on this opening night. In Chicago, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
And as the Democratic Party holds its convention in Chicago, a leading Republican senator says his party's nominee must focus his message. Here's Fox's Gernal Scott.
South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham is a staunch supporter of former President Donald Trump, but has been at times critical of him. On NBC's Meet the Press, Senator Graham said, given how close this election could be, he urges the former president to focus his message.
His policies are good for America, and if you have a policy debate for president, he wins. Donald Trump, the provocateur, the showman, may not win this election.
Senator Graham adds a specific message is what Republicans need with less than 3 months to Election Day. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Israel today as talks of a new ceasefire between Israel and Hamas in Gaza continue. While meeting with Israeli President Isaac Herzog in Tel Aviv, Secretary Blinken called for all sides to agree to the ceasefire.
It is time for everyone to get to yes and to not look for any excuses to say no.
Hamas is still holding roughly 110 people hostage, including 8 Americans. A suspect is in custody in last month's fatal shooting of a Sonic drive-in manager. SAPD and U.S. Marshals arrested 27-year-old Joseph Friday. The shooting happened at the Sonic on Babcock Road during an argument that resulted when Joseph and 2 women reportedly tried to pay for an order with counterfeit money. One of the 2 women shot and killed 33-year-old Daniel Shrewsbury. Joseph is charged with murder because he reported reportedly told Shrewsbury he was about to be shot. Police have identified the suspected shooter as 17-year-old Adia Roberson, who's still at large. Security is being beefed up around Joint Base San Antonio after shooters exchanged gunfire with guards over the weekend.
JBSA Lackland officials and San Antonio police say there were 2 incidents in the overnight hours of Saturday. SAPD says around 2 a.m., unknown suspects fired rounds at the Chapman Training Annex main gate. More security was added afterwards, and about 3 hours later, a sedan stopped east of the entrance gate and shots were fired at Air Force guards a second time. They returned fire. Police say the suspects are not military related but have no other info at this time. No injuries were reported, and officials believe there is no threat to the base. Eric Lankum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
Texas Democrats plan to challenge a new edict from the governor's office demanding that the state's hospitals account for the cost of treating illegal immigrants.
Under federal law, hospitals must provide emergency care regardless of one's immigration status.
Congressman Al Green says migrants pay taxes too. A new report from the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy found that Texas receives about $5 billion annually from those in the country illegally. The Bernie Little League team takes on the Florida team tonight in the Little League World Series. The Southwest Region champion scored a 9-0 shutout of Newtown, Pennsylvania Thursday night. Bernie plays this evening against Lake Mary, the Southeast Region champions, who won last Wednesday and Friday. First pitch in Williamsport, Pennsylvania is at 6 o'clock tonight. It is 7:06, news at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Traffic and weather coming up.
San Antonio's first news, Charity McCurdy, Mr. T, Tim Merriman. Our thanks to Charlie Parker. For those were the days. I'm Chris Duell. Big 7 o'clock hour coming up. National correspondent Rory O'Neill at 7:20 with a preview of the Democratic National Convention. At 7:50, we'll hear more from you on crazy things you've seen people do behind the wheel of a car, including eating. And what's a good thing or a bad thing to eat behind the wheel of a car? Mike Opelka is on assignment today. We expect him back tomorrow. He may have some big news tomorrow as well. So at 7:20, we'll talk about a number of school districts going back to school today. A lot of them went last week, but the North Side Independent School District, of which Mr. T and I are alums, they're going back to school today. So the kids at Jay and Holmes going back to school. And coming right up at 7:10 in a segment we call Wait Till You Hear This, we'll listen into a portion of former President Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania over the weekend. But first, let's get you caught up on traffic and weather together.
You may see a few clouds, but you'll see lots of sunshine, and it's going to be hot. There's a heat advisory in effect till 8 o'clock tonight. Highs today, 103, 106. Forecast for tomorrow, 107 on Wednesday. It is 79 degrees in Alamo Heights, 78 in Helotes, and 79 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 7:10.
San Antonio's first news every weekday morning at this time. We span the globe to bring you the constant variety of audio. And this morning, that audio comes from former President Donald Trump's rally over the weekend in Pennsylvania. And apparently he was not that impressed with Kamala Harris's Time magazine cover.
Well, he liked the portrait, but he just wanted to know why there wasn't a picture. And here he is.
I mean, Time magazine, think of this. Time magazine doesn't have a picture of her. They have this unbelievable artist drawing her. And I said, is that Sophia Loren? I couldn't. Who might that be? Is that Elizabeth Taylor? They say she was a beautiful woman. Who is it? It's so beautiful drawing. It's a drawing. They took a lot of pictures. It didn't work out, so they hired a sketch artist. I said, I'm sure, they must be celebrating the great life and times of the magnificently beautiful Sophia Loren. And you're not allowed to say this anymore. You know, David, don't ever get caught in this trap, David, please. Don't ever call a woman beautiful, because that'll be the end of your political career. Please. I want to make your life much easier, David. By the way, he's also got a great wife, I have to say. He's got a great wife. But, you know, I mean, I read a so-called Republican who Ronald Reagan didn't like, by the way, and she didn't like him, but she got credit for being this Reagan speechwriter. Highly overrated. I don't know anything about her. I don't know her. Treats me badly, but that's okay. She called it wrong. She's called it wrong now for about 8 years. But she said one thing that got me. She said, Kamala has one big advantage. She's a very beautiful woman. She's a beautiful woman. So I decided to go back and reread the clause. I'm not saying he's, but I say that I am much better looking than her. I think I'm much better looking.
Wow.
I'm a better looking person than Kamala.
Former President Donald Trump taking issue with Kamala Harris's Time magazine portrait, which was not a picture. He said early in that sound clip, Charity, that they took a lot of pictures. They didn't work out. He was suggesting that none of the actual photos would work out, so they hired an artist to render her.
Wow. No words. I am looking at the Time magazine sketch of Kamala, and without seeing her name, I recognize that it is Kamala.
You didn't think it was Sophia Loren?
I did not. I mean, although this picture of Kamala has fewer wrinkles, it might be a little airbrushed. But, you know, I think that's the former president just trying to give food to the press because he knows that Democrats will be in an uproar over those comments, even though it might have been just for pure entertainment factor, tongue in cheek. I don't think he really believes that he is a more beautiful person than Kamala Harris, although I don't know. I mean, have we measured his ego lately? I'm not sure.
I'm so glad you said ego. I'll ask you, Charity, is he better looking than Kamala Harris? Is he more beautiful? You're a woman.
Yeah, you're qualified to make this
Who is
call.
a more beautiful human being? I mean, I don't know. Has he applied the bronzer yet? I mean, I need to know like the conditions.
I just found that very bizarre, actually, that he would say that. He's more beautiful than Kamala Harris. I mean,
I think this goes to his ego, and I think he didn't like that she was on the cover of Time magazine, and that this time he was not. I think he just. I think it's like, hey, but it should have been me. That's my guess.
It cracks me up. I feel like I'm listening to a stand-up comedian when he goes on these rants. I mean, I can't take it seriously. I don't know how much other people do. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
That's part of the allure of his rallies. He provides great entertainment value. And certainly for his base, and even outside of his base, that was a very entertaining 2 minutes.
It was. And he did that just for us so we could have that this morning and wait till you hear this. And I appreciate that.
And I'll be thrilled this week during the Democratic National Convention. I'm sure he's going to want to counter program.
Oh, sure.
I'm sure he's going to see things each night that he's going to want to comment on. So it'll be very interesting to get Donald Trump's review night by night. I mean, tonight we've got Hillary and Joe Biden taking the stage. So I'm sure we'll hear the review from former President Donald Trump. And if we have that tomorrow morning, we'll play that for you. All right. Coming up, Mike Opelka is out this morning. He's on assignment. He'll be back tomorrow. But it's the first day of school for the North Side, Somerset, and Southwest independent school districts. We'll talk a little back to school. Coming up, WOAI News Time, 7:16.
And we're back.
Good morning, Steve DeRocco, the original Rock, co-founder of the San Antonio Polar Bear Club. Rock, have you made 30 days yet? You should be right around 30 days, I do believe. Day 1.
All right.
That means he drank. He drank on Sunday.
Well, let's just put it this way, man. Twin Peaks, they don't have 29-degree root beer.
Those ladies at Twin Peaks in Bryan, Texas.
It's the peer pressure, man. It's peer pressure.
Steve DeRocco, they forced him. They forced him to drink.
He's doing counter programming. You are correct.
As he should. So I think we put it out, and since the 31st is next week, that talkback should be next week.
Well, we can mention that we're trying to come up with something.
Yeah, but the actual talkback sometime next week.
Sure.
And maybe even on the
30th,
Friday,
on the 30th,
as we move into the weekend.
Works for me. Friday is always a good day to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Trevin is right. He was in Pennsylvania, thought he was in North Carolina. Can you ask Opelka about that? Maybe he's too old to be running for president. We would, but Mike Opelka's out today. He's on assignment.
Yeah, Mike will be back tomorrow. That's
good
a good
morning,
question
Jesse.
for him.
Good morning to all 24 of you. How's that?
Yeah, Steve DeRocco, I am also on day 1 today. I'm going to Houston on Friday to see Chicago and Earth, Wind, and Fire. And
Now, is it true that Michael McDonald's going to be singing with Chicago?
I would love that. That would upgrade Chicago and make Chicago. I think he should sing with Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Ooh, now you're talking.
Michael McDonald singing Reasons. That'd be nice.
Reason. The reason that we're here.
We could do Michael McDonald.
Yeah, I'm going to be there.
Yamo be there. So I figure I will probably overindulge at the concert, which is Saturday night. So
Then go cold turkey for a week.
I am alcohol free for 5 days.
Stand by.
Just ahead of headlines, traffic, and weather together at 7:40, national correspondent Rory O'Neill will give us a preview of the Democratic National Convention. Coming up, though, we'll talk a little back to school. Mr. T, a John Jay High School product. I'm a Holmes High School product. Northside is one of the school districts going back to school this morning. We'll talk about that and more. First, Charity McCurdy, what stories are you following?
Today is the first day of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. SAPD has fired an officer who failed to pat down a teen who later fatally shot himself. And it is the first day of school for the city's largest school district. We'll have the latest right now, traffic and weather.
A few clouds, but other than that, lots of sunshine and hot. There's a heat advisory in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. I have a feeling that could get extended because tomorrow the highs are forecast at 106, 107 on Wednesday. It is 79 degrees in Leon Valley, 78 in Floresville, Texas, and 79 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 720.
San Antonio's first news. Normally at this time, we check in with Mike Opelka from the Pure Opelka podcast. However, he is on assignment this morning. We expect him to be back tomorrow. And he texted Mr. T and says he may have some very big news.
Yes, very big news.
Tomorrow, about as big as you can get in Mike Opelka's world.
Yes.
So hopefully that happens, and we'll talk about that. He's brought to us by Randy Adams Incorporated. And circle your calendar, October 24th.
Yes.
We are planning OpelkaCon.
More details to come.
Yes, Mike Opelka coming to San Antonio. In fact, there's a meeting today.
Yes.
I found out on OpelkaCon that's going to happen. Now, Charity, you said something moments ago. The largest school district in San Antonio is back to school today. That can't be Somerset or Southwest. What is the largest school district in San Antonio?
That would be Northside ISD.
Yes.
Also
the
fourth largest school district in the state of Texas.
We'll be number one in no time.
Now, a couple of things strike me. Number one, Mr. T went to John Jay High School.
Yes,
I went to Holmes High School. Where is that Mr. T statue out front of John Jay High School?
Well, Chris, let's just say that my time at John Jay High School did not warrant a statue,
But
just
it's
a
your time
warrant.
after.
Just a warrant, not a statue.
warrants. But I think for lifetime achievement, there should be a Mr. T
They
statue
should say,
outside.
thank God he's gone. Let's make a statue of him.
So now, Charity, 1 week ago today, you went through back to school in the Northeast Independent School District for the first time ever. You put your daughter on a school bus headed to first grade.
Actually, second time, because kindergarten, she rode the school bus.
I said headed to first grade.
Oh, okay. I thought.
Let's hope she's not in her second time in first grade, man. Come on.
Okay,
My full
I'm
sentence
sorry.
was actually correct, but it's okay.
No, I thought you said for the first time I put her on a school bus. But
Headed
you're
to first grade.
Okay, I stand corrected. Thank you. I'm sorry. I got it all wrong.
It's not the first time.
But yeah, no, it was emotional. But I didn't cry as much as the very first time in kindergarten when she got on the school bus and was whizzed away. But it's still emotional. But it was seamless transition. She's so brave. It's amazing. If she's fine, I'm fine. I will really be a basket case. So when my son next year gets on a school bus for the first time.
Now, you bring up so many memories about crying on the first day of school, because I used to cry all the time about going to school on the first day of school. It's like, man, summer's over already. Why? Why?
It's a tough time.
It is a
First day
tough
of school.
time.
And you think about the teachers. I mean, they're nervous too. I mean, some of these teachers are brand new, or they just kind of get those first day jitters because they don't know what their students will be like. So it's nerves all the way around.
Yeah, Stephen from Lytle, our
Yeah,
favorite teacher, told
mentioned
us
that,
last
yeah.
week that first day for teachers, they want to make sure everything goes the way they want it to. It's a big day for the teachers.
It is. It is. And look, I was never a big fan of the first day of school because you never did anything.
See, I was a huge fan because you wanted to find out, are there cute girls in your class? I
Of
was
course there were.
huge fan.
It was a huge school. There was all kinds of new girls.
But you don't know which ones are in
Yeah.
your class.
Yeah, but it was just boring to me. Very boring.
Do you remember at what age you started like talking. I want her to be my girlfriend.
First grade.
It was first grade, really.
First grade. Yeah, I was
Wow.
around women my entire life. So, yeah, it was
Okay.
nothing new to me. Yeah, so
Chris?
first grade.
I
Chris?
was more like third or fourth grade.
Okay.
I was a slow learner, unlike Mr. T.
Tammy
I didn't
Land.
appreciate girls until third or fourth grade.
Tammy Land was my girlfriend in first grade.
Very
Mm-hmm.
nice.
Yes.
Where's
Still
she now?
remember.
Can we look her up?
I don't know.
See how it all
I
worked
saw her
out
in
for
high
her?
school and reminded her of that, and it just embarrassed her to all end. Yes.
Now, Charity, Mr. T and I have looked at the football schedule.
Yes, we have.
And the first game of the season for Jay and for Holmes will be Holmes versus Jay,
Ooh.
August 31st at Gustafson Stadium, formerly known as Northside Stadium when we went to high school.
Before I learned how to drive.
Mr. T and I are going to have to come up with some sort of a bet.
Yeah, I mean, bragging rights are on the
Yes.
line here. Yeah.
Some kind of either a bet or someone gets shamed or slimed.
I'm more on the bet.
Yeah.
Let's go with the bet.
You don't want some kind of a
Yes.
shame,
No.
penance.
No, and it's funny
public
because
humiliation for
it's
the
funny
loser.
that I looked at John Jay's schedule. It says Jay versus Holmes. It's weird.
Yeah, Holmes. It says Holmes versus Jay. Holmes is the home
Yes,
team.
I know. That means we sit on the
You're gonna
other
have to
side of
sit
the
on the
stadium.
opposite
Yeah.
side.
We were thinking about going. We should go.
We might. I think, Charity, we should each give a pep talk to our respective football teams in the locker room before the game.
Do you really want to risk that? I don't know. I mean, it might work.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
We'll think about it.
All right, Mr. Buckholz, if you're listening, I know you still got some connections at John Jay. See what you can do there.
August 31st, Holmes versus Jay.
Jay versus
Gustafson
Holmes.
Stadium for all the bragging rights and some sort of public humiliation to be determined in the next few days. All right, much more coming up. National correspondent Rory O'Neill with a preview of the Democratic National Convention at 7:40. Before that, Charity with everything you need to know on this full moon Monday morning. WOAI News Time, 7:26.
And we're back.
Woo!
Officer John.
Woohoo!
Steak dinner bet. Okay, I like it.
What is happening? Oh, I can do it if it works. If not,
It won't.
Turn it over to you. That one and that one is not working. Why? 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 I know. Yeah. Wow. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right.
Do you have a Teams link for it?
He said he was going to send one. He hasn't yet. So, okay, cool.
And then John Handy, top of the hour.
Yes. Thank you very much. Make sure EJ, if he's the guy who fires it, make sure
he's here on Wednesday. Okay. Okay. All right, I'll be back.
Yeah.
Enjoy Charity.
7:30 is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Monday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, President Biden delivers the keynote address tonight at the DNC. An investigation continues after 2 shootings near a local military base. We'll have details, first traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your Weather Channel forecast for this Monday. Heat advisory until 8 o'clock tonight. Partly cloudy, a high near 103. Tonight's low in the upper 70s. Right now, 79 degrees. It is the Democrats' time in the spotlight, and many Texans are there in Chicago. Michael Board has more on Decision 2024.
The Democratic National Convention starts today in Chicago, and those who are there say there's a buzz in the air. Congressman Joaquin Castro of San Antonio says there's a sense of renewed optimism.
You've seen these Zooms that are drawing hundreds of thousands of people. People feel like this is a fresh start.
He says there will be a lot of talk about jobs, inflation, and both child care and health care coverage. The headliners include 3 presidents: Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden will speak. The convention runs through Thursday. Michael Board, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
Meantime, there are security concerns ahead of the DNC. Fox's Jeff Manasso has more.
You're not rioting in my city. That message to protesters from Police Superintendent Larry Snelling amid reports that tens of thousands of activists will protest the DNC over issues like the economy, the illegal immigration crisis, and the Israel-Hamas war. Coalition and U.S. Palestinian Community Network's Hatim Abudaya last week blasted the city. He says we're trying to suppress protest voices.
Someone doesn't want us to talk about Palestine, about Genocide Joe and Killer Kamala's support of genocide. And this is a shocking violation of our First Amendment rights.
Many Chicago businesses near the convention have also been boarding up windows as a precaution. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Speaking on Fox News Sunday, former President Trump's running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, urged all Republicans to get their votes in to secure a second Trump presidency.
I feel extremely confident that we're going to be in the right place come November. We can't worry about polls. We have to run through the finish line and encourage everybody to get out there and vote. But our message is going to be very simple. If you want to get back to the peace and prosperity, the rising take-home pay, Donald Trump delivered it once, and he can do it again.
And Trump has flip-flopped on his stance on mail-in voting, once calling it corrupt and blaming it for his loss in 2020. He's now encouraging his supporters to vote early by mail and absentee ballots to swamp the vote. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Israel today as talks of a new ceasefire between Israel and Hamas in Gaza continue. While meeting with Israel's president in Tel Aviv, Secretary Blinken warned against those seeking to disrupt the negotiations.
It is time for it to get done. It's also time to make sure that no one takes any steps that could derail this process.
Hamas is still holding roughly 110 people hostage, including 8 Americans. Authorities are investigating after a shooting near a local military base prompted the base's security team to return fire. Lisa Carton has more.
Officials say early Saturday morning, suspects twice opened fire on the entrance to a training annex, part of Joint Base San Antonio Lackland. At around 2 a.m., security personnel reportedly heard shots and the sound of bullets whizzing past them. Around 3 hours later, shots were fired from a sedan stopped near the gate, causing Air Force security officers to return fire. No injuries were reported, and the identity of the shooters remains unknown. I'm Lisa Carton.
Investigators are trying to determine the cause of a fire yesterday at a hot tub store on the north side. San Antonio firefighters responded around 2:30 in the afternoon to the blaze at Spa Crafters near 1604 and Redland Road. Materials including plastic and fiberglass were burning in the warehouse, and the fire spread to several vehicles outside the building, as well as storage and shipping containers. No injuries were reported. The brutal heat wave is showing no signs of letting up, and it has already shown how dangerous it can be.
Most of Texas is under a heat advisory due to higher than normal heat indices. The Dallas-Fort Worth area is under a heat warning. How dangerous is that? A UPS driver was hospitalized after he crashed his vehicle after passing out from the heat in the North Texas town of Anna. That incident under investigation. Meanwhile, with the actual high in San Antonio expected to be 104 today, officials are urging you to take necessary precautions with the punishing heat, including staying hydrated, staying in air conditioning when possible, and taking frequent breaks if you're stuck outside. Eric Lycum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
Well, Texas Democrats plan to challenge a new edict from the governor's office demanding that the state's hospitals account for the cost of treating illegal immigrants.
Under federal law, hospitals must provide emergency care regardless of one's immigration status.
Congressman Al Green says migrants pay taxes too. A new report from the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy found that Texas receives about $5 billion annually from those in the country illegally. Governor Abbott ordered the data collection to start this November. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office is investigating the death of an elderly couple after a shooting over the weekend. Deputies responded around 2 p.m. Saturday to a home on Quarter Moon in the northeast part of the county. They found a man and woman dead with several gunshot wounds. Deputies questioned 2 other people who were in the home at the time. The case is being investigated as a double homicide. And here's a look at the films that dominated the weekend box office.
The first Alien film premiered 45 years ago. Now the newest installment.
Stop playing around, man. Just get out. I'm not playing around. It's in the water.
Alien Romulus won the weekend, earning $41.5 million in ticket sales. In second place this week, the superhero team-up Deadpool and Wolverine.
You were an X-Man. You were the X-Man.
The Marvel blockbuster, now in its 4th week, pulling in another $29 million, making almost $546 million over the last month. Of course, actor Ryan Reynolds plays Deadpool. His wife, Blake Lively's latest film, finishing 3rd this week, the romantic drama It Ends With Us, made $24 million, and now has made almost $98 million in its 2 weeks in theaters. Ann Carrick, Fox News.
It is 7:38. Traffic and weather together in a minute. But first, to check up your money and the world of business, Ed Corey is live at the Bloomberg News Desk. All right, thanks, Ed. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
San Antonio's first news. Mr. T, Tim Merriman, Charity McCurdy. I'm Chris Duell. Coming up at 7:50, more of your talkbacks, bizarre things you've seen while driving. But right now, let's check in with national correspondent Rory O'Neill, who is covering all aspects of the Democratic National Convention, which gets underway today and tonight in Chicago. And Rory, a big story could be the protests in Chicago. What do we expect from the protesters?
Yeah, we started seeing them take to the streets, marching around the Loop in Chicago yesterday. We're expecting maybe, some say, close to 100,000 demonstrators today. I think that I would say that's not true, but we should get certainly more than a few thousand will be in the streets. But the biggest issue will likely relate to the war in Gaza. A lot of the largest Palestinian population in the country is in the Chicago area, so many pro-Palestinian supporters are expected. Some of them were on the streets in Chicago last night. They had almost 1,000 people protesting, marching for about 4 hours last night. Today is expected to provide the biggest demonstrations of the week, but we'll see how things go. And, you know, a lot of these protests were being planned weeks, months ago even. People are being bussed in from other parts of the country. But that's back when Joe Biden was on the top of the ticket. And maybe Harris is seen as being more sympathetic to the cause. We might see fewer demonstrators take to the streets. It's all wait and see right now. Cops say they're ready.
And Rory, with the large presence of these pro-Palestinian demonstrators, I imagine the push for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war will be mentioned at least once on the big stage.
I would expect it to be probably more than once. And, you know, we've got Secretary of State Blinken is over there now again today trying to get some progress. I think that's, you know, we had that peace negotiation session scheduled last week as well. I think that the U.S. was actually trying to be able to manipulate something, try to reach some sort of an agreement that could be announced this week just to keep these demonstrators down. But no real progress on that front. So again, a lot of open-ended questions about just exactly how big the crowd will be and if they'll stay peaceful. Last night's protests were peaceful in downtown Chicago. Today could have a crowd, though, that's 10, 20 times larger. So it's difficult to gauge how that's going to go.
And you mentioned they're bussing them in. Do you know where they're coming from and who's footing the bill on that?
I've seen some from California, New York, they said, were also coming in. So I saw East Coast and West Coast. They didn't say. Oftentimes, you know, the people who support the cause will, you know, they'll charter a bus and everyone chips in their fare for it. But yeah, we haven't seen any more specific claims. By the way, I should also point out, many times the organizers of these things like to say that this is what's happening, but then it's not really happening. So let's, you know, they're also claiming we're going to have 100,000 people. Okay, that's one of those, I'll believe it when I see it.
And we will keep our eyes on it, certainly beginning tonight. Our thanks to national correspondent Rory O'Neill. And Charity, we talked about it earlier. When you think Chicago and Democratic National Convention and protests, it gives most of us a 1968 flashback.
Yeah, violent clashes during that DNC and multiple arrests. I think 600 people ended up being arrested back then, and over 100 were injured, along with police officers. So obviously don't want a repeat of that. But when you consider all the high-profile individuals, former presidents, current president in town in Chicago, the combination of the Secret Service, local police, and the Illinois National Guard on standby, security has got to be at its highest right now.
Now, this country was built on protest. As long as they stay peaceful, they have every right in the world to do it.
That's a huge point.
Yeah.
Our first thought, is violent protests. And because we've seen so many over the years, and certainly in 1968, but going to be very, very interesting to see how this plays out. We'll be all over it with our coverage, certainly all week long right here on 1200 WOAI. Coming up, we'll get you caught up on headlines, traffic, weather, and more. And more of your talkbacks are coming. What are some of the strangest things you've ever seen behind the wheel of a vehicle? That's coming up. WOAI News Time, 7:45.
And we're back.
Connie, welcome in.
Hello, Connie.
Connie, Travis, Tim, Tommy, Trevin, welcome.
Ah, she's got us on the big screen. That's way better. Hello.
It's a
Hi,
little
Connie.
frightening.
Hi, Connie.
A little frightening seeing us on the big screen.
It is.
Connie.
It is. It's a horror movie.
Yes.
Is that Jane Fonda? Little Cheech and Chong reference there. Sorry. Not that kind of scary movie. Okay, that's a colorful keyboard.
It's very colorful.
It's great unless you're colorblind.
Right.
Then what? Al Capone Live. She's talking about you.
Thank you, Connie.
Really? Sleepy said he's seen a fella typing on a small laptop resting on his steering wheel.
Wow.
Nothing surprises me anymore, Chris.
Yeah.
Nothing.
People trying out for the Darwin Awards.
Yeah. I still think the leader in the pack, though, is the guy that was on the motorcycle texting on 181. I couldn't believe it, man. Just was shocked. Still don't have a time for your meeting?
Andrew apparently knows about it and says it's 10:30.
You gonna do it from home?
Probably. Now I'll tell you later.
Homostatic gel?
A gel for gunshot wounds. Hey,
It's about
sell that
time.
to the kids?
You know what? That should be in your back to school shopping. I'm sorry,
in your
but
little crayon box.
yeah, think about it. You want to see the number 2 pencil, your Big Chief tablet,
your big eraser, and your trauma gel.
trauma gel. Trauma gel.
Yeah, Tim, there was a tank. It was on I-10 near, what was the cross street? Wurzbach?
Yeah. You know, it looked
we
better.
talked
It looked
about
better
it.
than a Tesla truck.
Yeah. We talked about it the other day.
Stand by.
Just ahead of headlines, traffic, and weather together, then we will hear from the people. It was inspired by a true story of an accident that happened to somebody in Buffalo eating buffalo wings as he drove and rear-ended a state trooper. What are some of the strange things you've seen people do behind the wheel, including what are the best and worst things to eat behind the wheel? We'll hear from you coming right up. But first, Charity, what stories are you following?
The Illinois National Guard will be in Chicago to assist local police during the DNC as it gets underway today. Gunshots rang out over the weekend near Joint Base San Antonio Lackland, and the Bernie team takes on the Florida team tonight in the Little League World Series. We'll have the latest coming up right now, traffic and weather.
Lots of sunshine today, tomorrow, and on Wednesday. Forecast high 103 today. There's a heat advisory until 8 o'clock this evening. Tomorrow, sunny skies, forecast high 105, 106. On Wednesday, forecast high 107. 75 degrees in New Braunfels, 78 in Helotes, and 79 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 7:51.
San Antonio's first news. He's Mr. T. She's Charity McCurdy. I'm Chris Duell. EJ Pacheco and Andrew Zimmel flying the Millennium Falcon, doing the heavy lifting technically this morning. Andrew in charge of our YouTube broadcast. Find us on YouTube. Search for 1200 WOAI for the live video stream. There's a chat in there. I see Connie, Tim, Travis, Trevin, Sleepy, and others. Sleepy says he's seen a fella typing on a small laptop resting on his steering wheel while he was driving.
Wow.
People want to win the Darwin Award.
Yes, they do.
People want to go out in a blaze of
Man, the only problem is they might take somebody else out with them. And that's the
true.
problem.
Yeah.
That's very, very frightening. So, Mr. T, to reset, you had a live, an actual news story out of Buffalo.
Out of Buffalo, a man driving and eating buffalo wings runs into a car at a stoplight. Car happened to be a state trooper, so he got a ticket for distracted driving, which brought up the question, what are some of the other things you've seen distracted people doing behind the wheel?
Yeah, and it usually involves a handheld device or food.
Well, and our sub question is, if you're going to eat food behind the wheel, first of all, don't. But if you're going to, this occurred to me, Charity. I think RK said a quarter pounder with cheese, which I agreed with. So it usually sticks together while you eat it. But a donut, a good old American donut. Now, a glazed donut, you're going to probably need some napkins, or you're going to grease up your steering wheel.
Yeah, and get all sticky.
In a filled donut, it might drip down your chin if you're not careful.
wearing it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
especially
jelly
Boston
donut.
cream. Yeah, that would be messy.
Yeah, it would.
I'm just saying.
All right, you want to head up to Central Arkansas?
Sure.
Here we go.
Hey, gang, this is Michael up in Central Arkansas. I was riding with a gentleman one time who was eating a banana split while driving. Obviously, we were all over the road. I asked him to stop several times. He wouldn't. So finally, I grabbed the banana split and ate the rest of it myself.
Now, that's the
Y'all have a
smart
good day.
move.
That is a smart move.
On multiple levels. Number one, it's safety. Number two, you get the banana split.
Yeah.
And number three, it's punitive. It's like, dude,
That's
if you're
it.
gonna,
I asked you.
Yeah.
I told you, let's stop. You wouldn't do it. Now I'm stopping you.
And you don't want the ice cream to melt. So,
No. All right, let's go out to Pipe Creek.
Good morning, y'all. This is Danny in Pipe Creek. This was several years ago. I used to work in the medical center and at a stoplight, look over, and there's a young woman changing her clothes next to me. I was so shocked that I didn't realize the light had changed. Everybody was honking at me. Somebody please tell RK that a quarter pounder from McDonald's is not real food.
I won't fight that opinion. A woman changing her clothes in the car.
Wow. At a stoplight. I mean, I guess she felt like she could do it very quickly if she chose that moment. I don't know.
Now, let me ask each of you, and I have, but I stopped the car. Have you, with a parked car, ever changed clothes in your car? I've had to, sometimes I'd get off work doing some kind of a job and have an event to go to. So I'd get out of jeans and get into dressier pants. But I'd pull over into a parking lot somewhere. And I was always very careful. When you're changing your pants in a parking lot, you don't want to be walked up upon, certainly by law enforcement officials who might wonder why you're in your skivvies. And
I have things to do, sir.
I have changed clothes in a car. Charity, be honest.
I have, multiple times. Yeah.
All right, so as long as you're not driving while doing that.
I have changed pants right here in the parking lot next to my car.
And that's frightening because
it is
outside of your car.
Yeah.
You were outside your car.
Yeah.
And you just dropped trowel, just like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I had to.
We don't want that in our parking lot.
Well,
I don't want to walk up on
it's
that.
on my permanent record because I'm pretty sure the sheriff saw it. So
yeah,
we
just
have
saying.
security cameras
Yes,
everywhere.
We do. Yes, we do. All right, let's head out to Atkins, Texas.
Hey, this is Greg from Atkins, and I've seen people do quite a few crazy things driving down the road. I was a police officer in San Antonio for 31 years. Reading books. A lot of people reading books, and I don't know how you can read a book and drive down the road. And the other thing is, ladies, putting on makeup. Y'all have a great day.
Well, Greg, first of all, thank you for your service.
Amen.
Yes.
31 years with
Wow.
the San Antonio Police Department. That's fantastic. That's got to be, and I think we've all seen that, Charity, ladies putting on makeup.
Oh, yeah.
How guilty are you, Charity, of putting on makeup in the car?
The most I'll do is like lip gloss that doesn't require a mirror. I know where my lips are without looking in a mirror. So that's the worst I've done. But no, I am not with the vanity down, mascara, eyeliner, anything that could impale my eye if I had to apply the brakes. So no, I don't do it when the vehicle's moving.
Now, see, I have the problem when I put my lip gloss on when I'm driving. I always get it all over my mustache and beard, and it's just horrible. It's
That's
hard to get
rough.
it out
Mm-hmm.
because I obviously don't know where my lips are. I'm sorry, but
And people reading books while driving. How and whenever I see something crazy, I so want there to be a police officer to come and nail these people. That there's never a police officer when you really want them to bust somebody who deserves it.
Yeah, it always happens. You go, where is a police officer when you need one? When you see something stupid on the road.
And I really feel like the number one violators are the people using their cell phone and they
Yes.
have it in their hand. And
Yes.
even, that they're talking on speakerphone because they're holding it up. It's not to their ear. It's like, that's the whole point of speakerphone. Set the phone on the side passenger seat. Why do you have to hold it?
I am still shocked that I still see people holding it up to their ears driving, talking on a phone. I am just amazed by that.
All the technology. And they choose the old way,
And
the
God
most
knows-
dangerous way.
God knows how many accidents are caused by these idiots. All right. Big 8 o'clock hour coming up. Joe Pags of the Joe Pags Show at 8:40. We'll preview the afternoon. But coming up at 8:10, national correspondent Aaron Real on Discount Airlines offering poor man's first class tickets. What are those? We'll find out. WOAI News Time, 7:58.
8 o'clock is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Monday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, the DNC kicks off today in Chicago, and Joint Base San Antonio Lackland officials continue to investigate weekend shootings. We'll have details first, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your Weather Channel forecast for this Monday. Heat advisory until 8 o'clock tonight. Partly cloudy, a high near 103. Tonight's low in the upper 70s. Get a move on. It is 79 degrees. The Democratic National Convention kicks off tonight with President Biden passing the torch to Vice President Kamala Harris. Fox's Jared Halpern has more on Decision 2024.
Before July 21st, this convention was all about electing President Biden to a second term. Instead, the president will address delegates tonight before spending the rest of this week in California. In his keynote speech tonight, President Biden is expected to warn of a threat to democracy posed by former President Trump and why his partner, Vice President Kamala Harris, should be the next president. Harris won't formally accept the nomination until Thursday night, but she is expected to be in the United Center this evening for the president's address. First Lady Jill Biden and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton also rally delegates on this opening night. In Chicago, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
As the Democratic Party holds its convention, a leading Republican senator says his party's nominee must focus his message. Fox's Gernal Scott reports.
South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham is a staunch supporter of former President Donald Trump, but has been at times critical of him. On NBC's Meet the Press, Senator Graham said, given how close this election could be, he urges the former president to focus his message.
His policies are good for America, and if you have a policy debate for president, he wins. Donald Trump, the provocateur, the showman, may not win this election.
Senator Graham adds a specific message is what Republicans need with less than 3 months to Election Day. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Israel today as talks of a new ceasefire between Israel and Hamas in Gaza continue. While meeting with Israeli President Isaac Herzog in Tel Aviv, Blinken called for all sides to agree to the ceasefire.
It is time for everyone to get to yes and to not look for any excuses to say no.
100,000 pro-Palestinian protesters are expected at the DNC in Chicago this week. Security is being beefed up around Joint Base San Antonio after shooters exchanged gunfire with guards over the weekend.
JBSA Lackland officials and San Antonio police say there were 2 incidents in the overnight hours of Saturday. SAPD says around 2 a.m., unknown suspects fired rounds at the Chapman Training Annex main gate. More security was added afterwards, and about 3 hours later, a sedan stopped east of the entrance gate and shots were fired at Air Force guards a second time. They returned fire. Police say the suspects are not military related but have no other info at this time. No injuries were reported, and officials believe there is no threat to the base. Eric Lankum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
A San Antonio police officer is out of a job for failing to pat down a teen who fatally shot himself in the Bexar County Jail. Body cam footage showed Officer Abdiel Munoz and other officers failed to pat down 19-year-old Jesus Gonzalez during the booking process after his arrest back in March. Gonzalez pulled a gun out of his clothing and shot himself. Munoz was given an indefinite suspension on July 29th. Well, Texas police are fighting for the right to use what they call less than lethal force. Rex Oates has details.
Things like tasers and beanbag guns are used as alternatives to firearms when responding to riots. Jennifer Szymanski with CLEAT says they saved lives during the Black Lives Matter protests in Austin and Dallas.
Was instrumental in de-escalating a situation that could have turned into a deadly force encounter had the option not been available.
But nearly 24 police were indicted for their actions during those protests. Rioters who were destroying cars and businesses were subdued with less than lethal force. 17 of those charges have since been dropped. I'm Rex Oates, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
The Bernie Little League team takes on the Florida team tonight in the Little League World Series. The Southwest Region champion scored a 9-0 shutout of Newtown, Pennsylvania Thursday night. Bernie plays this evening against Lake Mary. First pitch in Williamsport, Pennsylvania is at 6 o'clock tonight. It is 8:06, news at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy, traffic and weather coming up.
San Antonio's first news, 8 o'clock hour is upon us. She is Charity McCurdy. That's Mr. T, Tim Merriman. I'm Chris Duell. EJ Pacheco and Andrew Zimmel flying the Millennium Falcon. And Andrew is in charge of our YouTube broadcast. If you want to see us and also talk with other people live and in real time in that chat, go to YouTube and look for 1200 WOAI. Big 8 o'clock hour. Joe Pags with a preview of the Joe Pags Show at 8:40. We'll talk about the Democratic National Convention, which gets underway today and tonight. And coming right up, national correspondent Aaron Real as discount airlines fight for the budget traveler, some of them offering a poor man's first class ticket. What's that all about? We'll find out. WOAI News Time, 8:09.
Sunny skies today, tomorrow, and on Wednesday. 103 forecast high today. It's going to feel a lot hotter than that. We have a heat advisory, in fact, until 8 o'clock. 105, 106 tomorrow, 107 on Wednesday. It is 79 degrees at the Pearl downtown, 78 in China Grove, and 79 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 8:10.
San Antonio's first news. Are you a discount flyer? Well, we may have some news for you right now from national correspondent Aaron Real. Aaron, tell us about the poor man's first class offerings.
Yeah, so that is essentially a snack, a drink, a check bag, and no one sitting next to you. Yes, they're offering no middle seat in poor man's first class. What Frontier and Spirit are doing is they're trying to battle the larger carriers. They have become much more adept at this basic economy. They have bigger planes. They can offer lots of diverse options in terms of seating, everything from first class to business to premium economy, which always baffles me, and then the back of the bus. But I think this is kind of hysterical. Spirit is using really creative tactics to help ease the cost burden for flyers, and they've considered making their flight attendants wear Bud Light advertisements on their uniforms in order to, I know, like a NASCAR driver. And I'm like, no, what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. If I get to check my bag for free, sure. That sounds like fun.
So between Wi-Fi, bigger seats, and alcohol, Aaron, I mean, what's the biggest draw? Is it luring people back into budget airlines?
So essentially, it's the fact that they cannot raise costs because, unlike the larger carriers, their whole model is built on this cost-conscious consumer. So they have to start being creative. So if they're betting on these back-of-seat screens and all the other things that are kind of standard on the bigger carriers, they need to just basically play the game in some measure without raising prices to offset expensive new labor contracts or fluctuating fuel prices. They have not been doing well. Spirit shares, they're down 82% this year. Frontier announced last week that it finally turned a net quarterly profit for the first time this year. Spirit has yet to do that since the pandemic. They're in a bad place right now. So they're being creative in any way they possibly can in order to get the dollars in the people in their seats.
So maybe they should be less creative and just say, hey, we'll get you there on time. We'll get you there safe and you won't have to pay to check your bags. That would get me to go back.
Right? I couldn't agree with you more. I'm like, why are we doing this? Why are we playing this like goofy exercise? Like, how about you just not leave tools in the wheel well? And I think so. Everything will be okay.
Our thanks to national correspondent Aaron Real. I do like Charity and T, the no middle seat.
Yes.
On both levels. Number one, I'd love to sit in a row and not have somebody in that middle seat. And number two, the worst punishment for me, maybe this is a punishment for the loser of the John J. Holmes High School football
So what are you
game,
going to have to do?
is to have to sit in a middle seat on a flight.
All for a month.
To me, that is a living hell.
Yeah, it's
to
like, what do you
sit
do
there.
with your arms? Like, technically, those side elbow resters should be yours,
Yes.
right? I mean,
invariably, though, I get some.
Oh, they want to fight over it,
armrest
don't
hog
they? Yeah, they want to
next to
fight.
me who
Yeah.
wants to hog
You're
that
getting
armrest.
that elbow wrestling.
Yes. But how funny though, Spirit Airlines with Bud Light advertising on
Hey,
their
if it
uniform.
works, man, if I don't have to pay to check my bag, put all kinds of patches on them.
The next big thing. Very, very funny. Coming up, we'll get you caught up on headlines, traffic, weather, and more. And we are hearing from you all morning long based upon an actual news story. What are some of the strangest things you've seen people do while behind the wheel of a vehicle that is moving? We'll hear from you coming up as well. WOAI News Time, 8:13.
And we're back.
Hey, everybody.
That's great, man.
Tim, Trevin, Sleepy,
Happy Dopey
Travis,
Doc, Grumpy,
Sneezy,
Old Fart.
Old Fart, Grumpy Old Fart.
I forget, was Sleazy actually one of the
I
dwarfs?
don't think Sleazy.
No?
Sleepy, Sneezy.
Oh, Sneezy. I
But
kept
not
getting
Sleazy.
Sleazy.
Sleazy are some of the girls you probably knew at John Jay High School. Names of the. And could you have seven dwarfs now? Would that be
Oh, I don't
politically
think you can.
incorrect?
He's seven.
Grumpy was a dwarf.
Yeah, Grumpy.
Dopey, Bashful, Grumpy, Sneezy, Happy, Sleepy.
Bashful. Everybody always forgets Bashful. No, you would have to say height. What is he? Was it horizontally? No, horizontally challenged.
Yes.
No,
The
vertically challenged. Vertically
Snow White
challenged.
and the vertically
challenged friends.
Friends. Doc, Grumpy, Happy, Sleepy, Bashful, Sneezy, and Dopey.
Dopey.
Would Dopey be smoking
You
weed?
cannot talk about Dopey like that.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
And we're back. It's funny to hear Charlie talking about cosmetic cracks.
So how many are you going to run here? Do we know?
As many as I can, man.
Yes,
I've
you're
got
overloaded.
I've got enough that we could run them nonstop till the end of the show if you want. If you won't, I can do it.
Just ahead of headlines, traffic, and weather together. And Charity, we heard a Yacht Rock ad for the iHeart Radio app. Tomorrow is Yacht Rock Tuesday, and I've got to choose which of my Yacht Rock t-shirts gifted to me by Charity McCurdy am I going to wear tomorrow?
I've got a perfect solution to that. You put them both in a bag, close your eyes, grab one out, and that's the one you wear.
I will do that.
Or do a wardrobe change in the middle of the show on a Yacht Rock Tuesday.
In the parking
And
lot.
I'll change in my car. I'll drive around the parking lot, and I'll change behind the wheel. I like it. I like it a lot. Charity, what stories are you following?
Well, President Biden and two former presidents are among the speakers at the DNC, which kicks off today. A Texas UPS driver is recovering after he crashed his truck when he passed out from the heat. And another arrest has been made in the murder of a Sonic drive-thru manager on the city's northwest side. We'll have details coming up right now, traffic and weather.
Heat advisory until 8 o'clock this evening. Forecast high 103 today, 105 or 106 tomorrow, 107 on Wednesday. It is 75 degrees, New Braunfels, Texas, 77 in Von Ormy, and 78 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 8:19.
San Antonio's first news. If you're driving right now, watch out for other drivers. They do stupid things behind the wheel. We've been talking about it all morning. In fact, Mr. T, an actual news story out of Buffalo, New York, kind of spurred this topic.
Yeah, a man driving and eating buffalo wings runs into a car at a stoplight. Unfortunately, that car was a state trooper, and he did get a distracted driving ticket. So that led to us asking, what are some of the most distracting things to do behind the wheel? What have you seen?
And our listeners have seen
quite a bit, actually. They never let us down. You guys ready?
Yes.
Let's check in with our pool guy.
Good morning, crew. It's your pool guy, Marco. So I had a buddy who would drive with his knees because he was eating his little cup of Fruit Loops. I don't recommend it. I do recommend a couple of H-E-B kolaches. Warm them up, put them on a stick, eat them like a chicken on a stick, and you can put your jalapeno on top. Y'all have a good
It's
day.
not a bad idea, actually.
Very cool. I actually, over the weekend, my birthday was Saturday, as
Yes,
you know.
we heard,
Marco,
yes.
the pool guy who you just heard his voice, sent me a nice little Facebook message. Said,
Aw.
happy birthday from Marco, your pool guy.
Did he offer to come clean the pool?
See, I just don't have a pool that is my own.
Still.
But if I ever have a pool,
You can just invite him over to clean it, and then just don't have him clean. Just have him hang out with you.
just come hang out. Come clean the pool, Marco.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very nice.
All right, here's somebody who has an idea of what to eat behind the wheel.
For me, it's them Whataburger fries and that spicy ketchup. I have to grab the spicy ketchup in one hand and a handful of fries in the other. So I'm tempted to try to drive with my knees and my elbow.
Now, most of our talkbacks have been reporting on other people.
And now
This was a confession. This is a guy who's
step
doing
on
that.
up, step on up and confess.
Wow.
This is why I have a dashboard camera. You know, it's just, you never know the crazy things you'll see.
It's true.
It's sad.
You've shown us a couple, and they are crazy.
Yeah.
They are crazy.
Charity has a very cool dashboard camera. I need to get one of those.
I think it's Red Tiger is the brand. And
Red
I
Tiger?
am not a paid endorser. I'm just passing along.
Red
No, it's
Tiger
pretty
needs to
cool,
be a
though.
sponsor.
Yeah, they do.
Of the News with Charity McCurdy, sponsored by Red Tiger dash cam.
Purchased by, on Amazon.
There you go.
Prime, yeah.
There you go.
One.
Yeah.
All right, let's head out to East Texas.
Morning, y'all. Bill from East Texas. One day I was going down one of the back roads, saw a car in front of me with a hand hanging out of it. Car was weaving a little bit. Arm went back in. I got up next to it. The car was still weaving. The guy was reloading his pistol. What are you going to do? Have a good day.
That's very Texas.
Yeah.
I'm reloading my pistol while I drive.
Yeah, because, I can't wait till I pull over to do
Yes.
that. Yeah,
And
no.
I would not honk in that situation.
No. And do not flip him off.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. All right, let's head out to New Braunfels.
Hey, this is Trey from New Braunfels. My F-150 had a real wide center console, and I had some chicken lo mein in a to-go box. Traffic was really bad, so I popped it open to start eating the chicken lo mein on the console, and had to hit the brakes, and it went flying all into the front of my truck and just all over the place. Pretty embarrassing and stupid. Kind of think, what the heck was I thinking here?
And that smell, I'm sure, lingered for months.
Another confession. I love it.
Uh-huh.
The scent of chicken
Come
lo
clean.
mein. A little air freshener for your Ford F-150 pickup truck. Chicken lo mein.
I know it's Monday, but how about a 2 for Tuesday?
Okay, this is Tuesday. One more time. As I'm listening to this, and right behind me, because I am now in my courier car, there is a person behind me at the stoplight. And not only is he eating something in a wrapped paper, but he has got his phone out too. Well, good day.
So he's eating and talking with somebody on the phone. So he's probably chewing with his mouth open. And he's apparently trying to drive a vehicle. And
Wow.
could rear end Tuesday, and we don't want that.
No, we do not want that. It's amazing to me what people do when they're supposed to be driving. It's no wonder traffic is like it is. All it takes is one dummy to hold up traffic, and then it just kind of snowballs.
And this is why you have to be very aware when you drive.
Yes.
'Cause you can be the best driver in the world, and one of these yahoos is going to come weaving into your lane and hitting you. So there's lots of threats out there.
We blame social media for a lot of things, but I think people just can't stand to be bored. So they always got to be doing something in their car. Even when they're driving, they have to be constantly entertained, whether they're eating or, talking to someone on their phone, looking at their phone. It's boredom. I think that's what it comes down to.
Well, I'm thinking if you want to be entertained, just pop it on 1200 WOAI,
Yes.
and we'll keep you entertained. You don't have to worry about reading or writing or anything.
We
That's
will
the solution.
entertain you. Yeah, we'll inform you. You'll know what you're talking about.
It's that simple.
Woo!
We're not going to feed you, though.
We
Information.
have, though.
Not while they're driving.
Not while they're no.
No,
not
we'll
while
make
they're
them
driving.
pull over, but yeah.
People have won.
Yes,
you know.
they have, but yeah. But we don't encourage it doing while you're, eating while you're driving.
Very, very true. All right, lots more coming up. Joe Pags from the Joe Pags Show at 8:40. He'll give us a preview. Usually has phenomenal guests on his show, and more of tonight's Democratic National Convention. What to expect? We'll talk about that, including protests in the streets. WOAI News Time 8:25.
8:30 is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Monday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, President Biden delivers a keynote address at the DNC tonight. An investigation continues after 2 shootings near a local military base. We'll have details. Right now, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your Weather Channel forecast for this Monday. Heat advisory until 8 o'clock tonight. Partly cloudy, a high near 103. Tonight's low near 78. Right now, 80 degrees. Well, it's the Democrats' time in the spotlight, and many Texans are there in Chicago. Michael Board has more on Decision 2024.
The Democratic National Convention starts today in Chicago, and those who are there say there's a buzz in the air. Congressman Joaquin Castro of San Antonio says there's a sense of renewed optimism.
You've seen these Zooms that are drawing hundreds of thousands of people. People feel like this is a fresh start.
He says there will be a lot of talk about jobs, inflation, and both child care and health care coverage. The headliners include 3 presidents, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden will speak. The convention runs through Thursday. Michael Board, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
And there are security concerns surrounding the DNC. Fox's Jeff Manasso reports.
You're not rioting in my city. That message to protesters from Police Superintendent Larry Snelling amid reports that tens of thousands of activists will protest the DNC over issues like the economy, the illegal immigration crisis, and the Israel-Hamas war. Coalition and U.S. Palestinian Community Network's Hatim Abudaya last week blasted the city. He says we're trying to suppress protest voices.
Someone doesn't want us to talk about Palestine, about Genocide Joe and Killer Kamala's support of genocide. And this is a shocking violation of our First Amendment rights.
Many Chicago businesses near the convention have also been boarding up windows as a precaution. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Israel as talks of a new ceasefire between Israel and Hamas in Gaza continue. While meeting with Israel's president, Secretary Blinken warned against those seeking to disrupt the negotiations.
It is time for it to get done. It's also time to make sure that no one takes any steps that could derail this process.
Hamas is still holding roughly 110 people hostage, including 8 Americans. Speaking on Fox News Sunday, former President Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, urged all Republicans to get their votes in to secure a second Trump presidency.
I feel extremely confident that we're going to be in the right place come November. We can't worry about polls. We have to run through the finish line and encourage everybody to get out there and vote. But our message is going to be very simple. If you want to get back to the peace and prosperity, the rising take-home pay, Donald Trump delivered it once and he can do it again.
Meantime, former Congressman George Santos heads to federal court today. The former Republican congressman is expected to plead guilty to multiple felony charges during a hearing today that would allow him to avoid a trial. Santos, who's booted from Congress, faces nearly 24 charges that accuse him of defrauding donors and lying about his finances. Authorities are investigating after a shooting near a local military base prompted the base's security team to return fire. Lisa Carton has more.
Officials say early Saturday morning, suspects twice opened fire on the entrance to a training annex, part of Joint Base San Antonio-Lackland. At around 2 a.m., security personnel reportedly heard shots and the sound of bullets whizzing past them. Around 3 hours later, shots were fired from a sedan stopped near the gate, causing Air Force security officers to return fire. No injuries were reported, and the identity of the shooters remains unknown. I'm Lisa Carton.
A legendary talk show host, Phil Donahue, has died. His family says the 88-year-old passed away yesterday after a long illness. 3 months before his death, Donahue was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Biden. Texas Democrats plan to challenge a new executive order from Governor Abbott's office. Beth Myers has more.
Governor Greg Abbott is demanding that the state's hospitals account for the cost of treating illegal immigrants. Congressman Al Green says that's nothing more than a political stunt.
How will it be done, given that persons are not required to show papers to get emergency health care?
He says migrants pay taxes too. A new report from the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy found that Texas gets about $5 billion annually from those in the country illegally. That hospital data collection starts in November. I'm Beth Myers, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
5 people, along with their pets, are displaced after an overnight fire at a West Side apartment. Fire officials said the fire destroyed the contents of the apartment, but damage was contained to one unit. No words on the cause of the blaze. Well, the Texas team is looking to keep steamrolling through the Little League World Series this evening.
The Bernie All-Stars dominated their game against Williamsport Thursday night from the first pitch. 3 Bernie batters hit home runs, including a bases-loaded grand slam from Cole Newsom as the All-Stars rang up a 9-0 victory over their Mid-Atlantic opponents. This fan tells News 4 it's more than just the small town rooting for the team.
Making sure that our boys know how supported they really truly are from our small community, as well as the greater Southwest region with the surrounding cities like San Antonio.
Relief pitcher Julian Hurst retired all 12 batters he faced. The All-Stars will take on the Southeast Regional champs from Lake Mary, Florida tonight. First pitch, 6 p.m. Eric Lankham, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
It is 8:37. Traffic and weather together in a minute, but first, to check up your money and the world of business, Ed Corey is live at the Bloomberg News Desk. All right, thanks, Ed. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
San Antonio's first news coming up. We will react to the news that Charity McCurdy just reported. Phil Donahue has passed away. We'll also talk about the Democratic National Convention, which is getting underway today. Speaking of the Democratic National Convention, Joe Pags is all over the coverage for that. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Chris. That's right. The DNC is underway. We'll have Senator Ron Johnson on to talk about that. Plus, Kay Smythe joins us. At the DNC already in Chicago, they're starting to board up businesses because a lot of protesters showed up. Already at one of the early events, looked like it might have been a rehearsal, Palestinian protesters showed up and started going on about Stop the Genocide. It's going to be an interesting week for sure. We'll be all over it on the Joe Pags Show, starting today at 5 on News Radio 1200 WOAI. See you then.
See you then. Joe Pags, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. every weekday, including today right here on 1200 WOAI. Well, Charity, you've reported on it. Phil Donahue has passed away. And Mr. T and I were talking about this, Charity. Without Phil Donahue, I mean, he was kind of a trailblazer in that format of an audience talk show midday. You know, Oprah, Jerry Springer, Morton Downey Jr., so many people followed in his footsteps. Geraldo had a show similar, but Phil Donahue was pretty much one of the first.
Yeah, he was the first person to interact with a studio audience. So, yeah, I mean, there wouldn't be Oprah, there wouldn't be Jerry Springer. Montel Williams comes to mind. But he was really innovative in the way that he was able to bring new ideas and interaction with a live studio audience. It was amazing.
Here's the thing I remember about Phil Donahue the most. His hair never changed. Ever. In the 30 years he was around, up until the day he died, his hair was always the same. It bizarre.
And that's not easy to do.
No, it's not.
Right. The only other person to do it is Michael McDonald.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But other
Pretty
than
much,
that,
yes.
Yeah.
But he did have a great head of hair. And he was married to Marlo Thomas. Well, he still,
and still is married to Marlo
that's his
Thomas.
widow now, yes.
At the time of his death. Wow. 88 years old, Phil Donahue.
And I think of talk shows today, you know, it's like the Kelly Clarkson show. No more Ellen. But there's not really a whole lot of talk shows that I would watch, I guess. Yeah.
No. But I used to watch Donahue after school.
Yeah.
It was entertainment.
Very, very good. All right. Tonight's the big night. We've been talking about it, and I'm sure we'll be all over it tomorrow as well. The Democratic National Convention. And as we've detailed throughout the morning, Charity, not only is it what will happen at the United Center in Chicago, where the Bulls play, where that convention will be tonight. Your keynote speaker will be President Joe Biden, but a lot of eyes on what could happen outside that building.
Yeah, you have a lot of pro-Palestinian protesters that are planning to make their presence known. There's early estimates that there could be as many as 100,000. So considering you have President Biden delivering the keynote address tonight, you have former presidents in town. I think you're going to have a lot of security with the Secret Service, local police, and you have the Illinois National Guard on standby.
Now, they're on standby, and they would only come out as if it got really out of hand and the violence broke out. That's when we might see them. Or if the police get overwhelmed by anything that happens, that's when we'll see the National Guard, I would guess.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, another thing to think about. So in addition to Joe Biden speaking tonight, Hillary Clinton will speak tonight. And it's Bill's birthday.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton, August 19th is his birthday. You wonder, will he be in the building tonight when Hillary speaks? Or because it's his birthday, he's 78 years old today, will he be out clubbing?
Or will there be a special guest singing him happy birthday, Mr. President? You know, I mean, you never know with Bill. You know what?
You never, ever know. You don't. Anything can happen.
And if he is out partying, will he inhale? Finally, after 78 years, is someone going to bust out the reefer and is Bill finally
You know,
gonna
it's my
inhale?
birthday. Yeah. Why not?
Can you believe?
No, I don't. Sorry, I don't.
Exactly. How naive do you think Bill, and apparently the American people were naive, when he ran for president, he admitted, I tried marijuana when I was in college. I experimented with marijuana, which always cracked me up.
Yeah.
You wear a white lab coat when you experiment with marijuana. I tried marijuana and I didn't inhale.
That would get me not to vote for you, man. What is wrong with you?
Yes.
Well, maybe he, didn't know what he was doing. I mean, isn't there that possibility? I don't know.
It is possible, but
He would have had to inhale to not know what he was doing.
somehow I have a feeling he had a big old Bob Marley joint back in high school.
From the Cheech and Chong Big
Exactly.
Bamboo. That's
Yes,
what he was
rolled
doing
with
right
the
there.
big bamboo
Yeah.
papers.
Yeah,
from-
but I didn't inhale.
No,
Okay.
I still don't believe that.
No, I don't
Maybe
either.
tonight's the night. All right. Coming up, we'll get you caught up on headlines, traffic, weather, and more. And before we're done, we got it. Tonight could also be the big night for the Bernie Little
Yes.
League team. Charity's been reporting they want to keep a good thing going and continue to win in the Little League World Series. We'll talk about that coming up as well. WOAI News Time, 8:45.
Here we go.
Yeah.
And we're back.
Woo! Woohoo! Sleepy, thanks for tuning us in the morning.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. 103.
That's in Austin.
Oh, that's
Bob.
in Austin. Okay.
Yeah, Bob.
Very nice.
We have Jack here. They have Bob up there. They used to have a morning show. JB and Sandy was hilarious, man. Oh, they were so funny, man. Whenever I'd be traveling through that neck of the woods, I'd check them out. I think they were on the Bob or they were on the Mix. I can't remember which ones, but Bob was fun. Bob's like Jack here. They play what they want. Same things over and over again.
Yeah, Tim, it is not possible. That's why he was lying.
Yeah. He was playing everybody for fools, man.
Just cop to it.
Yeah, I did it. It was okay. I liked it. I'm doing it right now. Shh, here comes Andrew. Why not? Play Fridays. Yeah. 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 Let me see what I can do. Because this is last Mondays. That's so weird. Because it's edited on mine. No, Tim, we're still working on that. We might go to the people and ask the people what they want the bet to be.
Yeah, Tim, we're leaning toward next week. The game isn't until a week from Saturday. It's August 31st. So on the Friday, a week from Friday, we're thinking about doing a talk back.
Where people can suggest what the bet will be.
Yeah. But currently, Pie to the Face might be the leader.
Kind of like a Dan Patrick.
Yeah,
thing.
that's a little derivative
Dan Patrick
of Dan
ripoff.
Patrick. Yeah.
I think I like the Bottle of Boone's Farm. Or whoever loses buys beer on Fridays for the next month.
That's not bad either.
That's a good one.
That's not bad either. See, Pie to the Face, we did it in here. It's going to get on the carpet.
I'm sure they're going to make, we'll
That's
go
not
on
good.
our permanent record, Chris.
Yeah, the sheriff would put that on a permanent record.
Again.
Boone's Farm, not bad.
That, because it does take me back to high school.
But if you see what I like about the Boone's Farm, there would have to be visual evidence.
Well, we could bring it in.
So yeah, so there would have to be a live stream of drinking the
Stand
entire
by.
bottle. Can they do it again? The Bernie Little League team in action in the Little League World Series this evening. We'll talk about that coming up. But first, Charity McCurdy, what stories are you following?
Well, the curtain rises on the Democratic National Convention in Chicago today. Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, is pushing back against recent polling showing a surge in support for Kamala Harris. And Air Force security officers came under fire twice over the weekend. We'll have details coming up right now, traffic and weather.
Sunny skies today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Hot all 3 days. Forecast high 103 today. Forecast high tomorrow 105 or 106, and on Wednesday 107. There's a heat advisory until 8 o'clock tonight. 78 degrees and a low to 79 at Randolph Air Force Base and 79 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 8:51.
San Antonio's first news, our thanks to Andrew Zimmel and EJ Pacheco doing the heavy lifting technically today, flying the Millennium Falcon, and Andrew with a bang-up job with our YouTube stream. Go to YouTube, look for 1200 WOAI, not only see us on video, but there's a cool live chat in there. You can chat with a lot of very, very cool people from around the world, actually. I think Tim is from the Philippines.
Yes.
So that's a fun thing. We're hoping for more fun tonight at the Little League World Series as the team from Bernie will try to keep a good thing going.
Yeah, 6 o'clock tonight, ESPN. They're taking on Southeast, which I believe is from Florida. Am I correct on that?
I think so.
Lake Mary, Florida, I think.
Yeah, Florida team, yeah.
Yeah. And look, they're 1-0 right now, and it's a double elimination. So even if they lose tonight, they would still play another game, but they cannot lose another game if they lose tonight. But they're not going to because they're really good.
I like that. Yeah, and you don't want to lose that first game and then have your back to the wall in every subsequent game. So just keep on winning. That's the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
so the winner of this game will play the winner between Mountain and West on Wednesday.
Correct.
And then the U.S. Championship game will be on Saturday.
Correct.
And then the Little League World Series Championship game would be Sunday.
Yeah, that would be the winner of the international side against the winner of the American side.
So doing the math. So 3 more wins
Would
for
do it.
Bernie is what we're looking for.
That's
to
what we're
win
hoping.
The championship.
That's what we're
and the
hoping.
World Series.
That's what, we don't want a loss. Just keep winning.
Hey, you were telling me, T, about a very, very cool Major League Baseball connection.
Yeah, Sundays at the Little League World Series, they always have a game, a Major League Baseball game. Yesterday and last night was the Yankees and Tigers. And what happens is they fly into Williamsport. The bus meets them out there, and the bus is the Little Leaguers. They get on the bus with the Little Leaguers and ride over to the stadium to watch the Little League Baseball, and they hang out with these kids. They must sign 500 autographs each. I mean, it's amazing. They sit in the stands with the players, and then they go away. And then when they go to the game, all the tickets are all Little Leaguers, all behind the plate. It's nothing but Little Leaguers during the Major League Baseball game. And it's them and their families. Basically, that's it, because there's not a big stadium.
How cool is that?
So
for
cool.
Kids?
Yeah, I just love seeing the interviews with these kids.
Yeah.
They're wise beyond their years.
Yes,
I
they
mean,
are.
they're just incredible.
And a lot of them, well, not a lot of them, but a few of them you wind up seeing in Major League Baseball, because these are some of the best 12-year-olds in America playing
and
baseball.
in the world, yes.
And then so you wind, a lot of these kids wind up being Major League ball players.
64 Major League Baseball players playing right now played in the Little League World Series.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So you're right. You could see some of these kids.
So keep it right here. Anything big happens tonight in Chicago, inside or outside of the Democratic National Convention, we will be all over it with highlights and analysis tomorrow. We are your Decision 2024 headquarters. Coming up, the Glenn Beck program in just a few minutes. Before that, Charity McCurdy with all the big stories you need to know about on this full moon Monday morning. But right now, your Sean Hannity Morning Minute, WOAI News Time, 8:55.
All right, everybody, have a great day and go Bernie.
Go Bernie, Sleepy, Tim, Travis, Trevin, whoever else might be in here. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Have a great day.
Later.
Bye. That was actually fun.
Yeah, that was a good show.